we're going to give them some history lessons. All right. So what's good, everybody? Welcome. Welcome. And make sure that you subscribe to the channel. All right. Because it's been a really crazy day. Like I mentioned, they're talking about 35 years for the young brother, Karmelo Anthony. And you guys know that what is going on right here is complete corruption. Hey, I know you like the hat, bro. I know you like it. I know you're mad because you can't wear the hat. Unfortunately, you just don't have enough style, right? And sometimes you saltines, y'all get so upset. Y'all get so mad when you see a brother who looks as good as I look and does it the right way. I know it upsets you, saltine, but we gonna cook you tonight, all right? Because guess what? This ain't over, all right? I ain't adding you to nothing. I'll drop the link when I get done giving you this history lesson, okay? So let's start from the top, all right? Let's start from the top because that's important. That's important, all right? All right, bro. See, now you're using the N-word. Now I got to block you, homie. Now I got to block you, bro. You can't even contain yourself. And that's the problem. Like, y'all don't know how to contain yourselves. You don't know how to act when you're amongst guests, all right? When you come on my channel, the rule is no cussing, bro. That's just how we do it. You can't come over here and try to cuss, bro, and say the N-word, dog, because you're going to get blocked. All right. I don't play those games over here. You can't sit in my chat and talk crazy. You're going to get blocked, bro. So let me go ahead and block this dude real quick. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, let's go ahead and boom. All right. See you later. See you later, Mr. Balboa, because you're a wimp. All right. You don't even know how to contain yourself. You don't know how to act, bro. So unfortunately, you're going to have to go to the shadow realm now. See you later. All right. So let's start from the top. Salute to I Don't Understand. Appreciate you. Good to catch you live. Hey, man, appreciate you guys pulling up. I know it's a lot of people live right now. So I'm trying to, usually I'm in this space around 8. But obviously today is a big day. There's a lot going on. A lot of people want to speak their piece. And so I'm just trying to get in where I fit in. I know that the YouTube algorithm is going to do what it does, but I wanted to make sure that I get this in because I know a lot of people are live right now and a lot of us share the same audience. So I try to give people time, but here we are. All right. So first things first, like I told you, we're going to do a history lesson before we go all the way in, right? Because y'all know on my channel, I always like to bring the historical relevance of what we're going through right now, because as foundational Black Americans, we already know that this isn't nothing new to us, right? We've been seeing these type of things happen for a very long time. Obviously, we just recently went through the Rick Child case, right? Where obviously Rick Child unalived the brother Cyrus, a 14-year-old who was running away and got, pow-powed in the back, right? And this also was in correlation to what I like to talk about with Miss Latasha Harlins, who passed away in 1991, right? Now, we have to always, like I told you, bring the historical relevance, because historical relevance is something that I like to bring that I feel is something unique to my channel, all right? So let's talk about it. What's your main issue with the case? Okay, I like that you asked that, Johnny Retro. My main issue with the case is this. This is my main issue with the case, okay? Granted, if you have a problem with what Karmelo did, that's fine, cool. But the fact that there was collusion and that these people were all connected, I have a problem with that. There is a direct collusion that happened to Karmelo based on the connections of Jeff Metcalf to the judge, John Roach, and the DA, Greg Willis. I have a problem with that. That's what my issue is. If we're going to give him a trial, give him a fair trial. But what we're not going to do is have a complete conspiracy against Karmelo Anthony. That's what we're not going to do. And I have a big problem with that, right? Because we always talk about being Americans and everybody having a right to a fair trial, right? Okay, bet. Well, give him what he's deserving as an American. And when you have stuff like this right here, this is a problem with me. I have a problem with this. And anybody who doesn't see the collusion, I have to look at you sideways. Because, like I started the stream with the quote, absolute power corrupts absolutely. I will repeat, absolute power corrupts absolutely. Okay? So if you have the power and it's already corrupted, what are we talking about here? We're talking about a kid who got railroaded, a kid who didn't even stand a chance. And mind you, he didn't have any help. Okay? The DA already, obviously, but as well, his defense attorney. That guy was completely incompetent, guys. Come on now. Let's keep it real. If we're gonna give him a fair shake and a fair trial, why are these pictures circulating with all these people buddy and friend up? How is this fair? Y'all help me understand if this is what we're talking about. If we're talking about the right to a fair trial as an American, what is this? Please help me understand, y'all. Salute to Nori. Thank you for pulling up. Appreciate you, Nori. Now, Unspoken. I was just about to do an episode on this too, but I want to call into your show too. Maybe I can both to BD. Yeah, I'm about to drop the link in a little bit, y'all. All right. I'm going to drop the link in a little bit, but I'm going to give this history lesson and then I'm going to let y'all tell me how you guys feel. All right. So like I mentioned, if we're going to have a fair trial, right, of our peers, right, what is this? Y'all help me understand what this is, because this doesn't look good. It looks like sabotage. You're right, Johnny. It does. It looks like a sabotage. It looks like a kid got railroaded. It looks like a kid didn't stand a chance. When you had racists outside the courtroom intimidating our news people who are out there covering the story, not bothering anybody, just trying to give an unbiased opinion. You got them out there being intimidated. You got racists out there talking about that he should have been from a tree, bro. Come on, man. Nah, bro, we ain't finna be doing that tonight. We gonna make sure that we stay on code tonight, because all of them live in the same area. He was in Frisco, Texas. Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. 11% black people in Frisco, Texas. All right. So let's talk about the history. All right. Let's talk about the history first. All right. Let me give y'all this history lesson before I drop the link. Okay. So look. Black Americans were historically restricted from defending themselves against violence through a web of formal statutes and unequal enforcement. Systems like the slave codes, black codes, and Jim Crow utilize a combination of weapons prohibitions, stand your ground double standards, and all white justice systems to deny Black Americans basic protections. Okay? We're not going to play these games without making sure that we reference the history, because obviously, yes, we're going to talk about the case, but the case has already been talked about. Okay? There's been many live streams. We've heard from different content creators who have given us the direct line from the courtroom. What we're going to talk about over here is the history of these people and the system that is set up against our youth and us as a people. All right. We ain't going to just let that go by. We're not just going to let that go by without y'all actually understanding and getting a history lesson tonight. That's what we're not going to do. OK, so let's talk about it. The antebellum slave codes. All right. Before the Civil War, legal codes throughout the American South strictly prohibited enslaved Black Americans and often freedmen from possessing weapons. Okay, this is the antebellum slave codes, and this is before the Civil War. All right, mind you, during a time when the KKK was literally terrorizing our communities, and I've talked about that exclusively on this channel. Okay, so let's continue. All right. Enslaved freedmen could not leave their plantations without a written pass. Gatherings of Black Americans, even for religious purposes, were legally defined as unlawful assemblies and monitored by armed white patrols. Listen, y'all, I know this is something that's hard for people to understand who are not a part of the culture, but let me keep it a buck. We're not going to do this without making sure that we keep it 100 on the facts and the history of this country and what they did to our people. All right? We're not going to do that, man. We're not. Honestly, you have to be careful of where you move to. I knew it wasn't going to turn out good when I first saw it last year and looked at the demographics 100%. And we understand the history of Texas. Okay. My family directly comes from Texas, Clarksville, Texas, to be exact. All right. And the fact that we migrated from Texas to California, right, was a direct. All right. And this is conversations that I had with my great grandmother. It was directly because of the racism that they dealt with during a time where we were sharecroppers, when we had our own land and we were getting terrorized by these people. All right. We had to dip. We had to dip. And a lot of us had to do that. The Great Migration wasn't just for no reason, man. It was because our people were literally being terrorized, and it's historical. All right. So let's continue. Black Americans defending themselves against white attackers, even in the cases of severe abuse and R-wording, was legally classified as committing an assault on a white person, which was a capital offense. Doesn't that sound familiar, y'all? Isn't history repeating itself? I know it may sound so crazy for this to be happening in 2026, but we're talking about in the 1700s, the 1600s. Okay, this is the time I'm talking about right here. And I'm referencing it for y'all so we can make sure that we understand the history. I'm just not going to skip over the fact that this is something that has been happening for generations. And mind you, that's why a lot of us as Black Americans, we not too thrown off by this. We understand the system and we know that this is going to continue to happen because obviously they need this. They need this right now. They need us to be in an uproar. They need us to go out and hit the streets. They want us to do this. Okay? Because like I mentioned, the country is falling. It is literally falling apart. They are so happy about one young Black male who is being railroaded, okay? Like we mentioned, who's being railroaded, all right? Who's being railroaded, okay? Who is being colluded against, who is being used, okay? They are so happy about this one dude. And then they were so happy about what happened to Cyrus. But that ain't going to change what's happening outside to y'all. That ain't going to stop all y'all farms being shut down. It's not going to stop all of the money that's going into y'all having to pay for gas and the groceries and all you guys being evicted. Oh yeah, let's not even forget about the SNAP benefits that are about to end. Okay, y'all can be happy about what's happening to Karmelo, but Karmelo can appeal this. There's a lot of ways that he can go about this to fight for his freedom. But what's happening in this country is because of y'all and your racism, and it's never going to stop. It's never going to stop. Please believe that. It's never going to stop because of what you guys are doing right now. All right. Salute to I don't understand. He says, my grandfather used to say this. He was born in 1922. He said they couldn't have large gatherings and would meet deep in the woods. He's from Mississippi. Yeah, man, my roots come from Albany, Mississippi. Right. That was the start of where my family is rooted from. We were on those plantations. All right. My native roots come from that. And so naturally, when we're talking about this stuff, this is a part of the historical references. OK, and we're going to keep going because y'all need to understand how this is so important. The historical relevance of what is happening to Karmelo and the fact that these people are indulging in someone else's demise, bro. These people are different, bro. They're not like us, man. We are not the same as these people, y'all. They're not like us. We have no connection to these people. They are a completely different species from us, man. And I mean that as respectfully as I can say it. They are different from us, y'all. We don't have any connection to these people, y'all. We don't, bro. We don't. So look, following the abolishment of slavery, Southern legislatures passed these codes to economically and physically subjugate newly freedmen from protecting ourselves. All right. These were all statutes that were happening, like the weapons ban. Many of these laws specifically criminalize the possession of firearms or ammunitions by Black American citizens. For instance, the Mississippi Black Code of 1865 made it illegal for any freedmen or mulattoes to keep or carry firearms of any kind. Doesn't this sound so familiar, right? Doesn't this sound so familiar? It is 100% what happened to Karmelo. Okay, this is laughable. Keep laughing, bro. We don't care what you have to say, dog. If you don't understand history and you're an ignorant person, that's on you, dog. But this is history. This is history, my guy. So you can go ahead and say, oh, this is laughable, but how can you laugh at history? This is proven. Y'all can be mad about the history because sometimes y'all don't like the mirror being held up to y'all face, right? Because like I mentioned, we different from y'all. We ain't the same. Y'all want to go over here and say this is funny, but hey, don't get mad because of the history, all right? Don't get mad, all right? So look, let's talk about it, right? Let's talk about it, all right? So let me bring this up real quick for you guys, okay? Hold up. All right, so we're going to keep it going. Unfair licensing. States mandated that Black Americans would obtain special licenses or permits to own weapons, which were almost universally denied by local authorities. Okay, guys, this is a part of what is a systemic problem. All of this is historical data that is literally being lost in the fact that this whole case is a part of a system that has been set up since literally the 1600s. That's what we're speaking on right now. We're talking about this, okay? So let me bring this up for you guys, all right? So you guys can see real quick what I'm talking about, okay? Boom. All right, so let me zoom in and make sure everything is kosher for y'all, so we can go in on this real easy. All right, so let me pull this up. Let me come back here and boom, and then boom. All right, so now the Virginia slave codes of 1680. All right, this is how far back we going to. I told y'all we gonna make sure we stand on business when it comes to this historical data. I don't just be over here talking. I'm over here dropping literal historical data for us to make sure that we understand how systemic this stuff is. The Virginia slave codes of 1680, formerly known as an act of preventing Negro insurrections. Now, isn't that funny, that word insurrection? Didn't we just hear about a January 6th insurrection and they were trying to get reparations for that? Oh yeah, let's go. So it was a cornerstone piece of a colonial legislation that designated to surpass the threat of slave uprisings. Enacted by the Virginia General Assembly on June 8th, 1680. Guys, isn't that date so actual crazy? What is today? Today's June 9th. What happened yesterday? On the exact same day, June 8th, Karmelo Anthony got convicted. And in June 8th of 1680, you had a legislation passed against our people, the freedmen. Come on, y'all. We're not going to just let this pass, y'all. Literally 1680 to 2026, to the day. To the day. I do this, man. I really do this. I do this. This is my bag. This is how I get it. All right. Everybody else, they bring their own, relevance to what they got to say. I'm bringing the historical facts and the systemic understanding that we all need to have of this system. Okay. Literal facts. Okay. So let's continue. Enacted. All right. No, I already read that. So the legislation established severe race-based legal controls that codified the subjugation of Black Americans in the colony. Key provisions of the 1680 code included travel restrictions, which enslaved people which were prohibited from leaving the master's plantations without a written permission or certificate. Meaning, if they were caught, you already know what was going on. They lost their lives. It wasn't even no back and forth. You're gonna die, bro. Ban on weapons. It became illegal for enslaved persons to carry or arm themselves with any weapons, including clubs, staffs, guns, or swords. Okay? Harsh corporal punishment. Traveling without a certificate carried an immediate penalty of 20 lashes to their bare backs, administered by the local constable. Okay? The police were literally whipping us, y'all. Whipping us. 20 lashes, bareback. All right. Retaliation against YTs. If any enslaved person raised a hand in opposition against a Christian, as you see, they have it in quotations, or meaning white colonialist, right? They were sentenced to 30 lashes upon due proof. And mind you, there wasn't even any proof needed, bro. They didn't need to prove nothing. All they needed to do was say he did it, and you getting 30 lashes to the back. All right? Legal protections for violence. If enslaved persons hid in an obscure place or resisted capture, they were refused to surrender. The law authorized anyone to hunt and unalive them without legal consequence. So let me get this straight. We talking about Karmelo, who literally was protecting himself from being bullied, all right? Being bullied, okay? Being bullied, all right? With something that looked like this. Hold up, let me make sure I pull this down because we got to make sure y'all see this. That looked like this, okay? This is what they were saying was the weapon. It was this, a utility knife, okay? Wasn't even a real knife, a utility knife, all right? He was convicted for 35 years because of this. Bro, on murder one, y'all, on murder one with no intent, no premeditation. Come on, man. Y'all need to wake up, man. Y'all need to understand that this was historical. It wasn't just about Karmelo. This was about a system that is set up for us to always take the brunt of it, man. Come on, man. Salute to Torian. He says, if they claim Tamir Rice was 18, then this is not a far-fetched at all from them folks. Nah, man, we know what they on, bro. We know what they on. We know what they're on, bro. This is what they on. Right here, dog. This is what they're on. Take a look. Take a real good look. Take a real good look at what corruption looks like. Absolute power corrupts absolutely. Absolute power corrupts absolutely, y'all. All right? So look, man, I want to keep going, but you know what? We're going to just drop the link. I want to hear from y'all, man. I'm going to drop the link right now so that y'all can go ahead and let me know how y'all feel about what happened, because y'all, like I told y'all, it's a lot of people live right now, and I'm just getting in where I could fit in. You know what I'm saying? I know it's a lot of people live and it's a lot coming at us, but we just going to drop the link, man. A Swiss Army knife. Exactly, bruh. A Swiss Army knife, dog. A literal Swiss Army knife. This is what Karmelo had in his bag. And they talking about that he was a murderer, dog. This is what he had in his bag, man. Right here. Yeah, I'm done talking too, bro. I'm done talking. They like to talk. Yeah, man. Facts. And that's why I be trying to tell people, bro, I'm not with the back and forth. I'm a real person. I made myself into a weapon because I understand how these people get down, man. Salute to Tori, and he in the chat. Let's see. Hold on, let me bring you up, bro. Let me make sure you in here. All right, Torian. Salute, brother. Thank you for pulling up, man. Go ahead. Let me know how you feel, man, because today was a very infuriating day. I'm very upset. I don't really have no words other than saluting and making sure that we bring the history to these idiots, man, because they don't really know, they don't really understand the history, dog. They don't.
Yeah, I had went live earlier today, and it was
Yeah,
like it was a
I was in the live, bro.
yeah, it was like impromptu. Like literally when I had because I was watching the coverage on somebody else's live because they was doing the coverage, and this was before the verdict was read, and
Yeah,
literally the entire time that I was looking at that on my screen with the anticipation, my heart almost beat out my chest. Like I know my heart rate went really high.
facts.
Um, and then when they came back with what they said, I said, "Oh, really now?" Like that's literally like what was going through. It was a bunch of things that was going through my head at all at one time. My mind was literally them neurons was like firing off the handle, and
That part.
then I had went live and just was talking to my subscribers for about an hour. I didn't even drop the link. Usually whenever I go live, I always play like music to get the mood right, then
Man,
introduce myself and the audience and everything. I just went on live, no thumbnail, just a random title, and just jumped like right into. I didn't even start my live immediately because I had to like really sit there and process what I just heard about 5 minutes ago, like 5 minutes prior. Like I had to literally sit there and let my audience sit in silence without hearing a word from me for almost 10 minutes. Like I literally almost sat there for 10 minutes not saying nothing while that timer was just going. Because I
fact,
had to like sit there and let myself register what in the world I just heard.
bro.
Um, I'm not like I said in my live earlier. I'm not surprised that this happened, but I was frustrated, and
Man,
I had told my audience I felt like I had the right to be very frustrated about what happened because we're literally coming off the cusp of what happened with Rick Chow in South Carolina, not
yep,
even a week ago, and
100.
then less than a week later, we get hit with this all within the same time frame. And I literally said, "What's going to come next week? What's going to happen next week?" I didn't even get on Twitter because I already knew that
Man.
Twitter probably looked like a damn Klan rally. So
Oh
I didn't even go on Twitter like after that happened for the rest of the day. I don't really go on Twitter like that much anyway, except to post like like if I got a new video or something like that, and that's about it. I
yeah,
might put a tweet or two up. Not today. So I'm not surprised by this. Everything that could have went wrong with this went completely wrong.
man.
And like I think what also got me too was when I saw that he got hit with 35 years. I said, "Are you serious?" I said they literally made an example out of Carmelo Anthony today. I was watching a video when I was on my way to I was running an errand, and they basically said they like I said they did this because they were making an example out of him of what would happen when someone who looks like us or identifies as us even dares step out of line as they would think. So this is their way of putting him back in his place. But I'm gonna tell them right now, that's not gonna bring Austin Metcalf back.
That part.
So all of that stuff y'all doing right now, and the stuff that I saw online about what they wish would happen to him, like I mean, was absolutely crazy. You had that Jake Lang out there being the provocateur that he is talking about. He
Mhm.
wanted to have him lynched outside of the courthouse. I
I,
said that's something straight out of past Jim Crow. That's something that was happening during the plantation. I was seeing them talking about that they wanted him to get violated in prison, all types of stuff.
mm-hmm.
I was like, y'all are more like mad about this, and y'all don't even know who Austin Metcalf was. Y'all just saw it because he was a white boy
That part.
that you felt like a connection and everything. And I told people when it comes to self defense or staying your ground, it's almost like it's written in invisible ink that black people are not allowed to even do it. Because I have seen and heard so many stories of black people try to use stand your ground. It never worked for them. Have you
No,
ever heard of a black person use stand your ground and it worked for them?
not
Especially
successful.
especially if it's dealing with them.
That part.
So
If it's them, we're on the receiving end. It's we're cooked. If
mhm.
it's us on the receiving end, we're cooked.
Yes,
You feel me?
yes,
There,
and
it's a double edged sword. You know what I mean? We can't win from losing, bro. And
I mean,
mind you, like you mentioned, like this doesn't change the outcome, right? Austin's not coming back.
right.
Okay, he's not coming back, and obviously, like I was watching Afro Elite earlier, and he made a great point, and he made it clear. It's like I don't want no black Americans walking around with y'all head down, sad, downtrodden about this. Nah, bro. This is what's understood. If the system ain't gonna work for us, then this is the consequences that we got to start accepting. Because at the end of the day,
And we've been
business
dealing
got to
with it
get
for a
done,
long
bro.
time.
Yeah, like ain't nobody finna just be putting their hands on our children, dog. And we're not finna be going around here telling them that they can't defend themselves. That's just
Right.
insane, bro. I'm not gonna do that. I'm
And
not
then
gonna
you look,
subject myself to
and
that.
then you look at other examples over the years when they've used self defense when it really wasn't, and they
Mm,
were able to get off. Like people brought up Kyle Rittenhouse. I
right?
mean, he crossed state lines and
Yeah,
did what he did. You
that
had
part.
Daniel Penny with Jordan Neely on the train. This he not only did he get off on self defense, they ended up giving him a job, a high ranking government job. He
And
went
one
to the
point
White
four
House
million
and met
dollars
he went and took pictures with Trump and Vivek Ramaswamy.
with 1.4
They
million dollars into his pocket. Okay,
yes.
that's also forgotten as well. 1.4 million dollars for his situation, right? They don't care. 1.4 million for unaliving
Yeah.
somebody, bro. That's insane.
Yeah, and then you see what we're doing now, after the whole Rick Child thing and how black people saying that they are basically staying out of their business, and not a day later, you had them coming out and showing their ass, like showing their true colors about and being anti-black and everything like that because they're losing, like they think that they're sticking to us, but they're in panic mode because they know that if they lose us, they lose a huge part of their economy
That
right
part.
then and there. So I mean, yeah, it's like I said, it's messed up all the way around. But I'm not in the least bit surprised. I'm sure that an appeal has definitely been filed. So
Mm-mm.
I don't know like what more is going to come from it. I was just like sitting there saying to myself, y'all actually got first degree from that,
Bro.
really? But you know what? I've also noticed this. Whenever they do something like this against us and they feel like they get an upper hand, don't you realize shortly thereafter it backfires? A perfect example of that is the overturning of affirmative action. They thought they was going at us with affirmative action. We didn't even benefit from affirmative action like that. And literally,
Bro.
not even a week later after, I will never forget it. Literally, not even a week after they overturned it, they on there crying their hearts out, wanting it back. I'm like,
Man.
well, I mean, that was your last little defense system right then. I'm talking about the agents because y'all was the one that y'all the ones that let Ed Blum get in your ear and convince you to overturn it, and now he left y'all holding a bag with a bunch of holes in it. They
And that's
still crying
because they
about it.
they know they know that everybody is anti-black. They understand it just as much as we do, right? And the fact that they've tried to gaslight us and try to make it seem like we are the ones who are actually, oh, yo, you guys are being sensitive, man. This, that, and the third. Like, no, bro, they use you guys because you guys are subject to the same hate that they can use against you. You don't
Exactly.
like,
I did it, my video. As a matter of fact, I uploaded a video today, and it had two videos in it. One of the videos that was highlighted was this conversation that this Asian woman had with this Asian man. I don't know what the context of the conversation was, but the question that was in the caption of the video, because I think it might have been on TikTok or something like that, is
mhm,
why do Asians feel like white people are superior? And she said that she doesn't feel like white people are superior, but she feels like they have to lean themselves into whiteness because they don't want to be oppressed by them anymore. So by them doing that, they feel like they're hiding behind them as a shield, as a protection, and the trade-off is they have to hate us in order for them to get protection. And a
man,
lot of those groups feel the same exact way because they feel like they know what the dominant society is, and they know the trade-off is, well, we'll give you cover, we'll give you this, that, and the third, but you have to hate on them. And by them, I'm talking about us. And they
that
have
part.
no problem doing it because when you look at the talking points that they use, if you closed your eyes and for some of them remove the accent, they sound like a white supremacist. Straight up out
Mm,
of the Jim Crow South.
that part. That part, bro. And the fact of the matter is, like, there isn't a time ever where Black Americans didn't warn these people. We told them who these people are, and at every turn, bruh, they literally undermine us. They act like we don't know what we're talking about. They act like we're overly emotional when it's the actual truth. And that's why it was important for me, like when I started this stream, to make sure that I ran down the history of this type of situations that have happened to us and our people from generations, bro. There has been a systemic problem with them using legislation, using the system to make sure that we are the ones who are targeted. And not only that, make it impossible for us to defend ourselves against what they're on. And that's why it's just like, bro, I couldn't be more confirmed in the fact that these people, they just not like us, bro. There's a huge difference between us and them, and it goes even beyond just the genetic part. You feel me? Like there's a spiritual difference, bro. Like the fact that people just can't get it. And the matter of fact as well is that they're scared, bro. Nobody's gonna stand up like we do, bro. That's just facts, man. These people are scary, dog.
And it shows like every time, like I said, whenever they hide behind them, they are scared. We're the only group that has bucked the systems. That's why they hate us, because
Man.
we will never assimilate into their way of life. Honestly, they don't even want us to assimilate. You see all them tap dancers out there? That's what they wish a lot of us were like. I'm sorry. I could never ever be like any one of them folks. The thought of it
Man.
makes me itch. I don't want to
Right.
be anything. I don't want to be anything like that. I'm sorry. I could not imagine. Even if I was to go in this life and come back in another life, please don't bring me back as one of them tap dancers. I will go
Man.
out again and come back again, hopefully, in on code as I was in the 2 lives before it. But yeah, I'm not, like I said, those individuals. Like I said, that's why I didn't get on Twitter today. After that verdict was read, I didn't get on there. I said they can let them have their little jubilee or whatever, their little party session, their little potluck with the raisins, with the potato salad, and all of that.
And
Let
then
them
go back
celebrate.
to work at 7-Eleven. Go back to
I
work
said,
at 7-Eleven. Make sure
I
you
said,
deliver my
yeah.
DoorDash, homie. Make sure you give me what I need. Because that's the problem, bro. I'm sorry to cut you off, Torian, but it's real. A lot of these people is misdirected energy. Because, like I mentioned, this country is going to hell, dog. They are so upset with the fact that they wanted everything to be so on to us. They wanted us to be the ones who were taking the brunt of everything that's coming on. So now they're trying to find an opportunity, right, to mess with us because they're doing terribly right now, bro. I can't tell you how many videos I see on social media, these people crying and so upset about the economy and what's
Oh
happening. Donald
yes.
Trump lied to us. I can't believe this. Can you guys believe what's happening to our country? Like, shut up, dude. Shut
Oh
up,
yes, we
bro.
can believe it because we
Yeah, man.
warned you about it. We warned you about it. That's how we know. But y'all didn't believe us. We literally told you what was going to happen. I don't know why, and I'm glad you brought that up. I don't know why people thought that when Trump got back in office the second time, that you was going to have the cakewalk and vacation that you had with his first term. That
Man.
never happens. A president who gets 2 terms, whether it's like back to back or in his case it had a gap in between, and actually made it worse because there was a gap in between, so there was a 4 year gap. But
Right.
their first term and their second terms are never identical. I mean, think about it. We can go all the way back to Clinton. His
Man.
second term, like his first term, he had that 3 strikes. Then the second term, Monica Lewinsky. Bush, he out straight out the gate already 9/11 in a war.
Man.
First of all, how in the world did you get all of that to happen in your first term and Hurricane Katrina? How did you have
Man.
all of that happen in your first term? With Obama, it was with Obama it was the economy. The economy tanked
Yep. And
in his first
immigration.
term.
And
Yeah, and
immigration.
immigration. And then when he
That's
came in the
right.
second term, with the second term, it was the legalizing the same-sex marriage.
Mm-hmm.
And with Trump, what Trump? Oh, Trump's first term in the first year, that thing that happened down in Charlottesville. They remember that, like how crazy that was.
What? Can we talk about it? You know what I'm saying? Can
And
we
then
talk
and
about
then on
George Floyd? Can we
and then
talk
on his
about
way
Ahmaud Arbery? Come on, man.
and then on his way out, the worst thing that could have happened, that pandemic.
Man, it literally.
And then with Biden, it was the influx of illegal immigrants. And now back to Trump, it's this messed up economy.
Yeah, and it's only gonna get
I,
worse. You feel
like
me?
I said, that's why I said every president has something that stood out in their term. In both terms, some came in the first term, some came in the second term, and some just had bad terms all the way around, whether it was first and second. But yeah, um, it's it's a mess. And then on top of that, let's not forget it's an election year. It's midterms coming up, and this happened
Mhm.
in Texas. I said this could not have happened in the worst state possible. In Texas, you
Bro,
know, things are very different back down in Texas. Texas is like its own union.
real talk. They could literally be their own country if it was really like that. You know what I'm saying? And a lot of Texans want that. You know, a lot of Texans talk about wanting to separate themselves and be independent and all this other stuff, which is coded language. You feel me? We
And you
understand
got
what
it.
they're trying to say. You know what I mean? They want to go back to the Confederacy. We get it. You know what I'm saying? But we ain't gonna be playing this, bro. All right, so we got a troll in here.
There we go.
Jen Italia talks about Tyrone brought a knife into a tent and called everyone P words. But guess what? Guess what happened to Austin though? With that little knife that you talking about. He's not here anymore. See you later. Y'all want to talk
You know
crazy?
what? You want to
Fine,
know
bro.
what's so
I
funny?
don't care.
You want to know what's so funny? People like that are coming in here to troll you. Well, I think I did have a couple trolls when I was live, which is to be expected. But it's funny how all of them are cheering this on right now, but I didn't see none of them get this upset or anything like this with what happened to one of their saviors last year, Charlie Kirk. Is it
Man, they
because
was
it was a
crying.
white?
They was literally shedding tears, bro.
Is it because it was a white guy that did it?
Come
Could you
on, talk
imagine?
about it.
Imagine though? Like really think about this for a second. Could you imagine if it was a black man that did that? We would never have heard the end of that.
Hey man, listen. We understand, right? Like that when it comes to the YT on YT crime, okay? They are the biggest perpetrators. And mind you, by the millions. We ain't talking about just a few people who lost their lives, millions of people, genocides across the entire universe. All right?
Mm-hmm.
This whole country, this whole world has been perpetrated by YT on YT crime. But they don't want to talk about that. You know what I'm saying? What's happening in Russia, right?
Mm-hmm.
What's happening? What's happening to all of those people in Russia right now? Y'all help me understand, please. Don't nobody want to talk about that. Oh yeah, what about in Israel? Yeah, real quiet about that. Y'all want to talk about one man, Karmelo. Okay, cool. The young man made a mistake, but guess what? He shouldn't have put his hands on him. Straight up. You put your hands on somebody, you cannot control the consequences that come from that.
Exactly.
That's just the facts.
And then like I said, they're getting so excited with this outcome, but I said y'all better be careful because if something like this happens and again, and I have the strongest feeling it probably will, more so than it won't, then don't get mad with the outcome. I mean, look at what because I refuse to call him by the name he wants to be. Look at Dalton Etherly down there in Asheville, and look at the predicament that he's in right now. I mean, I said this dude has such a long digital footprint with all the stuff that he has said and done. I said he practically is doing the prosecution's stuff for them. Like they don't really have much to do. Like he's laid the groundwork for them to have a case against him when his trial happens.
Bro, and mind you, the funny part about that even is when you look at like even the social media part of it, like there's so many people who are so bent out of shape about the fact that he is actually being held accountable for what he did, man. I've never seen anything like this. Obviously, the internet is a cesspool for these people, and I truly believe that these algorithms are programmed to be racist. That's just my opinion because I can see how the algorithm works now that I started making content. What videos end up in the For You page and what doesn't.
Mm-hmm.
Certain things that get suppressed and other ones that they choose to get more views, right? And it's
Mm-hmm.
funny, you know what I'm saying? Like you said, Dalton Etherly, you know what I mean? Chud the fairy, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, they ain't got nothing to say about that because he about to catch an L. And sure enough, guess what? Like you said, when the tables turn, we gonna be celebrating. Please believe that. You
Oh
get what
yeah.
you deserve, homie.
Oh
Nobody
yeah.
got time for that. Let me see what
Exactly.
else these people talking about. He said Tyrone was supposed to leave, bro. Get out of here. All right, let's. All right, so he says I don't understand. Says they sure didn't get that upset about Tyler Robinson. They sure didn't. They sure didn't, bro.
Yeah,
And
because
you know what's
it,
funny?
when it comes to Erica, you couldn't tell that she's upset about her husband's death, not with the way she's been carrying on, like she's some kind of celebrity.
Hmm.
But what they
Hey,
want
let's
is, but
talk
they
about
got
it.
mad, but
This
they got mad,
celebrity.
but they got mad at Juicy for that skit.
Come on, man.
How dare you do a skit on a grieving widow? I said, go sit down somewhere. That woman ain't been grieving. That woman wasn't grieving until while her husband was still cold, before they put
Right.
him in the dirt.
That part. Hey, Jen, you really need to do some research because y'all always say the same stuff and it's just wrong. Like the statistics are not what you think, bro. It's just wrong. Like I don't know who you are. I don't understand why y'all always try to go with that same narrative, bro. It's wrong. Like we also could talk about the exonerations of black men being at the
It was like,
highest rate.
yeah, I think it's like
Okay,
isn't it like
we
fifty
can
four
talk about
percent or
that,
something like that. It's
right?
like really really high.
And look, Jen, if you got a problem, there's a link in the chat. Hit the link so we can
And
hear from you if you got
Jim may
something
not
to say.
Jim may not even be a woman. That's
Right.
probably a whole dude.
A whole man, faking the funk. Yeah, talking in circles, bro. Yeah, hey, it's cool. We understand what it is. Salute to Devo. He says they're not even mentioning the Chud situation. Nah, because this is what they wanted. They were like foaming at the mouth for Carmelo to get what he got. But they ain't gonna
You
talk
gotta
about
really put this
this.
in. Well, you
Okay,
gotta
they
really.
ain't gonna talk about that there was a full-on collusion and conspiracy against that young brother. Okay,
You gotta.
these pictures are circulating right now, man. Come on, bro. What we talking about?
You gotta really think too. Like this one person, and by one person I'm talking about Carmelo Anthony, got
Yeah.
that many people talking about him.
Hmm.
Like they literally took time out of their day to really, really go in and like talk about him. And I like, I know they probably rejoicing and happy right about now, but that's gonna be a temporary feeling because like they said, the world will continue to spin, and
Yeah, and they
something
not
else is.
talking about his dad getting his ass whooped by his sons. They ain't talking about that. They're also not talking about his dad being a domestic abuser, right?
Or
They're not
oh and
talking
oh
about
and
their
oh and oh
broken family,
oh
okay?
you just said it. Oh, you just
Come
said what I
on,
was gonna
man.
say.
Come on, bro. They ain't talking about that. And that's a part of
Meanwhile,
this too. That's a part of
me,
this too, Torian.
me
You know that,
meanwhile,
bro.
Carmelo comes from a two-parent household. He
Come on,
comes
man.
from a rather like affluent family because they were middle class family. He worked.
100%.
He worked. He had good grades. He was an athlete.
A
Like he was
captain,
the.
a captain, okay?
Mhm.
Not just an athlete, a captain. And anybody who's played sports, you understand a captain on any team holds a lot of weight. Okay. He's probably either one of the highest leaders on the team or he's one of the best players on the team. Okay. We ain't talking about the twins who literally got kicked off of the track team because they couldn't even hack it. The coach was sending them text messages talking about, dude, you guys shouldn't even come to the meet because you guys don't even contribute anything to the team. These are all facts. Okay. So when they're talking about Carmelo, Carmelo was the complete opposite of the twin boys. All
Yep.
right. And they didn't like him because they were jealous of him because Carmelo was talking that shit. And we gonna talk that shit. It's an athlete thing. Okay. You gotta have confidence in your sport and how your team holds themselves. And they got mad because he was telling them the truth that y'all ass. Okay, he told them straight up to their face, and that's how it is. And that's the thing. Like they talk about us being so sensitive, but when it comes to us in our hierarchy, when it comes to a genetic difference in
Mm-hmm.
sports specifically,
Mm-hmm.
they know they can't mess with us. So
That is a fact.
naturally, that when we talking, we gonna talk that shit. And if
Like
you
for
got a problem, what's up, bro?
like for instance, and like like I'll use because I've been to physique competitions before because
Mm-hmm.
the gym that I work out in is some people there that have competed.
Yeah,
And the people, I said, it's a reason why the bodybuilders or the people in those competitions, why they tan so heavy,
come on, man.
because the muscle definition looks better under the lights when it's darker rather than when it's lighter. So you got to think like for someone like you and I with our complexion, because me and you have like the same kind of complexion, we
Word,
would only have to probably use one coat of tanning. If you
word.
put someone up there like like an Arnold Schwarzenegger, and I'm using him as an example because he was a bodybuilder before he became an actor, you would have to put about a good 3 to 4 coats of tanning paint on him to get him to the right color for that lighting when he's being judged.
One
Because
hundred
if you
percent.
if you if you just put a regular pale Arnold Schwarzenegger on that stage under those lights, it would be hard to judge him because those bright lights against his pale skin would be hard to judge. Like,
And that's
really look at that. Like if people never like notice that, like when people compete in those physique and bodybuilding competitions, and people be like, "Why do they look so dark?" That's why, because the abs and the muscle looks better under with darker skin.
and let's not even talk about them being completely hopped up on steroids. Okay,
Mm.
all right. That's also a part of this too. Is genetically okay. Genetically, there is a huge genetic difference between us and them. And naturally, like you mentioned, naturally, like I have obviously nephews and stuff, and they were young. My nephews out the womb have six packs, bro. This is just facts. Like we know this. Like how many kids you know in the hood, as soon as they 2 years old, 3 years old, they doing backflips.
Yeah.
Okay, standing somersaults, bro. Can run for days. You know what I'm
And people
saying?
wonder why those like certain athletic like sports cost so much money because they know if
Hmm.
black people could afford them, they would dominate it. That's why you be seeing so many black kids in basketball and football because those were seen as the cheaper sports to get your kids into. It didn't cost a lot of money opposed to say like tennis or golf or hockey where those are or soccer because those are a little bit more expensive. But I said when you put them in there, all it takes is one, and then when
Bro.
you see it, that one gets all the attention. When Tiger Woods got into golf, Tiger got all the attention. When the Williams sisters got into tennis, the Williams sisters got all the attention.
Listen, bro, and that's why I always talk about baseball specifically because baseball is one of those sports where you saw how slowly but surely they phased out the black
Yep,
Americans
and you
out of
started
that
seeing a lot of
sport.
like a lot of the Dominicans.
There you go, straight up. They went overseas. They went and got Asians too, right?
Yep,
All them boys over there in Japan and China, they want to bring them over here, but we really have one of the richest history when it comes to baseball. We had our
yes.
own leagues. You know what I'm saying? Some of the
Hockey started
greatest.
with hockey started with black Canadians.
Come on, man. This is just what it is, bro. And that's why I always say this is like a lot of that stuff, even those baseball fields, it was baseball fields in the hood
Oh
because
yeah.
a baseball don't cost a lot. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
The concept of the Sandlot, the movie, was based on the fact that it's like, yo, all you need is a ball and 8 people. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, if you gonna figure it out, you're gonna figure it out. But that being phased out, like you mentioned, was because we were dominating
Yep.
dominating. Okay. After that King Griffey Jr. era, you started to see a slow tamper off. They started to outsource to different countries and bringing in
I
all
used to
these
call
other
King
people.
Griffey the home run king because he was killing it in that home
Come
run
on,
derby
man.
every year during the All Star. He was
Come on,
always the
bro.
person people look forward to play, like in that home run derby because he was the guy to beat.
The beautiful swing. Okay. Just genetics out the freaking roof. All right. We ain't even gonna talk about everybody else. Bo Jackson, Deion Sanders. Okay.
Barry
People who were
Bonds.
just athletic anomalies. Like it just didn't make sense. You feel me?
Mm-hmm.
And that's why it's so interesting that this all plays into where this all occurred at a track meet where
Yeah.
obviously Carmelo holds a lot of weight. He's one of the captains of the track team. He's there supporting the JV because he's a varsity runner. This was a JV meet. And the Austin Metcalf and his brother are running JV. Get out of here, bro. Get these dudes out of here, okay? Mediocre at best. And the fact that they are so up in arms about it, I'm telling you, man, it's that jealousy, bro.
It
It's
is.
jealousy. It's a
It's
jealousy.
that green eye envy is something serious, especially when it comes from them.
Come on,
Because
man. Carmelo, man.
we've seen what their envy has done to black towns.
Come on, bro. Come
I
on,
keep
bro.
thinking to myself, what if Black Wall Street was never bombed? Like, Black Wall Street got started in 1921. Could you imagine where it would have been if it was here today? Where
Listen,
would we be as a community just off of that one town? And that's not to discredit all the other towns, because there were other towns too.
for
But
sure.
that one right there was like a hub. That was like a hub. Or
That was
what
the
could have been a
ecosystem.
hub.
There you go. It was the ecosystem from which all financial literacy and wealth would have come from. People don't understand, like Oklahoma being like centrally located, the location of where it is, right next to not only the density of Black Americans, but as well the connection with the natives, right?
Mm-hmm.
The people who are all connected there. And mind you, that's what's so funny is because this was during the Great Depression, dog.
Yes.
You know what I'm
Yes.
saying? A time where people were literally in destitute. Their community was cooked. All right.
Mm-hmm.
And they saw us obviously doing really well. We were completely separate, had our own
Yes.
economy. That
Mm-hmm.
literally
And
drove them to what they did.
not only that, also for many fresh off the plantation with
Hmm.
nothing like, and they weren't given anything to start up these businesses. They came together as a community and put that together and built that themselves.
We had the
And their
skills, man.
jealousy is what destroyed it. And what
Yeah.
also gets me too is that people forget that 41 years ago, you literally had the government drop a duffel bag of C4 on some homes in Philadelphia,
Come
and
on,
people do
bro.
not talk about that.
Listen, man, we literally have seen the worst, bruh. And I mean that. Like, that's why it's so infuriating when people try to come and talk crazy to us like we don't know history. That's what pisses me off the most. Is like, if you're gonna be ignorant, at least know history. You know what I'm saying? At least be a little bit educated and understanding the timeline. Y'all just be saying whatever with no facts. And that's what infuriates me, bruh, because it's like, okay,
Yes.
cool. Y'all can tell us about us complaining about it, but tell us why we're complaining. Tell me the facts though. And if I'm hitting you with the facts, please shut the fuck up. I'm sorry to cuss y'all, but please, move out the way, dog, because you can't even have a logical conversation with these people. And
I
that's
know.
where it always comes back to, man. Like there's
Yeah,
no logic.
that's why I gotten into the practice, and I suggest a lot of other black people do this too. Get in the practice of stop trying to explain to them, because
Man,
they don't care.
they
They
don't.
really don't care.
They don't, bro. They don't. And we constantly have to go out of our way to try to make other people understand. Like you said, it's getting to a point now where it's like I'm done with that shit, bro. Like now it's time to really lock in on our people and like completely just separate from the BS, man. Because at this point, and you know, I'm a very like spiritual person in this way, where like there's a divine intervention that's
Yeah.
happening right now, right? And mind you, we can follow the timeline, right? What just happened? And what is that? Ashley Gonzalez, right? What
Yep.
happened with Ashley Gonzalez it exposed the Latino and the Hispanic community, exposed them, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because what she was saying, you saw all these people getting behind her and supporting her. Okay, bet we got you. All right, cool. Now what happened? Rick Choi. Ooh, that exposed the Asian
Yeah.
community. It exposed the Asian community because they was red hot when we say, you know what, yeah, it's time for us to go ahead and take our dollars away from this. Let's go ahead and stop supporting their businesses. Let's just move. I bet.
Yep.
Now, obviously, we already know how the white community get down. We've been dealing with them for over 600 years.
Yeah.
So now, all these things, you can't tell me that's not divine intervention, bro. You can't
Mm-hmm.
tell me that that's not the ancestors coming in and showing us. Because a lot of black folks, they needed to see this.
Yeah.
All right? A lot of black folks, they wasn't going to get it.
especially especially
Straight
a
up.
lot especially a lot of younger black folks
Mm-hmm.
considering Carmelo Anthony's age. He's only 19.
That
Understand
part.
this. I think that's the part that really gets me. They just sentenced a 19-year-old to 35 years in prison on a murder one charge that they know wasn't murder one. Like, really, really let that sink in. And that's what I say to all the the black youth out there. And it doesn't matter if it's the boys or the girls. Really pay attention to what just happened here, because some of them
Mm-hmm.
who are like I think they call them Gen Alpha or whatever.
Yep.
They weren't born when we saw what happened with Trayvon Martin
That
or
part.
Mike Brown or Tamir
Yep.
Rice. They probably weren't. Some of them weren't born yet, or if they were really really young and didn't understand it. This right here, y'all are old enough now, because some of y'all are probably his age or
Mm-hmm.
around it, or born in that same era, like that Gen Z realm or something like that, where you're old enough to understand it. And the crazy part about it is, he literally was the same, was 17, same
Yep.
age as Trayvon Martin.
100%, bro. 100%. A young brother, this young man right here, young man. You know what I'm saying? Was literally railroaded by this system, bro.
Hmm.
They literally did him dirty, dog. And mind you, like you said, this was for everybody to see. This is
Yep.
all over social
Everybody saw
media.
this.
It's on every news outlet. You
I
can't
didn't even get on
escape.
TikTok. I didn't even get on. Now that I think about it, I didn't even get on TikTok after
Oh
the
yeah.
verdict was read. I said I might go on there a little bit later, because I know on TikTok they going crazy.
Oh
But
yeah.
I'm staying far away from Twitter, because
Yeah, man.
I already know who's on Twitter. Oh, that's what I wanted to say. This incident right here, and I said it last year when it happened. This incident right here should have remained an isolated incident, meaning it should have not left the state of Texas. The reason
Mm-hmm.
why they did it is because PC individuals like Matt Walsh got a
Oh
hold
yeah.
of it and turned
Mm-hmm.
it into a racial incident, when that's not even what it was. I
Right.
remember when I remember they tried to get Carmelo Anthony on a hate crime. I said he did not take that man's life because he was white.
He
What in
didn't
the
even
world? That's
know
about as
him,
bad as the
bro.
murder one charge.
Man, didn't even know this kid. You know what I'm saying? Didn't have any animosity until they brought it to him. Okay, he was over there feeling
But
like he
but
was
that's the
amongst
thing.
his friend, bro.
But
And
that's the
salute. And you know what? I'm gonna keep it real. His friend, that Eddie dude, Eddie Para,
hmm
what a fucking snake, bro. What a snake.
black and brown. What?
Man, went out of his way to act like, oh no, me and Carmelo, we're not that close. Meanwhile, they show pictures of him with his family, show pictures of him hanging out personally together. All right, and like you said, like
That should
this,
have been perjury. That should have been
bro,
perjury.
man,
Line up on the stand,
come on,
which
bro.
meant which most of them said them witnesses were lying anyway. So
They was all coach, man. They all said the same thing. They all had the same little, saying, oh, we didn't think somebody could bring a knife to a
y'all,
school,
I'm
a track meet. Who would do that? Like, okay, bro. All
I'm
right,
gonna
man.
tell you something. I'm
All
gonna tell you
right.
something like this. I'm gonna tell you like this. If I was Carmelo Anthony and they gave me an appeal and I had to do some time for this BS, I'm telling you right now, when I walk out of that prison, I'm laying low for as long as possible, and then one random day, I'm just gonna pop up and be like, "Yes," I'm like, "Surprise!" I'm gonna have them shook.
Man,
Like, you ain't hear from me in a while. Well, I'm back. I don't even
man.
have to do nothing. I'm here. I'm just passing through.
Yeah, I hope that he goes for the appeal. I hope he gets a new lawyer. I hope he hires a whole new loyal team. Like, he needs to really change everything up, because the people that were representing him obviously have direct connections to the Metcalf family. And It is unfortunate that this brother had to take the L because of these folks right here. Okay, there was a direct collusion against this young brother, and it is now coming out. And I hope that he learns from this. You feel me? I'm gonna say this too. I've been paying attention to not only just what the news is saying and what's going on social media. I'm paying attention to the behavior of not only the celebrities, the athletes, where they at? Where are they at? Where are the politicians? Where's the NAACP? Right? Where are they at? Everybody is silent. It's deafening, bro. And I'm paying attention to that. And mind you, I'm gonna say this too. And a lot of people ain't gonna like it, but you gotta hear this. All of y'all people who partake in interracial dating, you better be watching the people that you with. If they aren't talking about this, if they aren't being super careful because their children are going to be black, whether you're a black man, whether you're a black woman, and you're with somebody who's not of the same race, if they are not taking this to heart, you got to reevaluate them people that you with. I don't care. I don't care how that sounds, bro. I don't care. Because at the end of the day, this is about children now. Okay, if they are doing this to 17-year-olds, these are kids, man. You think they wouldn't do this to your child, whether they got something mixed in them or not, bro? They gonna look at them as they black.
Yeah, you. I said exactly. I said you better.
So
I said that's
whatever. I don't care. I don't care how that looks, bro. I don't, bro. I don't care, bro. Because now is the time to start reevaluating everything. Everybody's on the docket. You feel me?
I said earlier, black people, we do not get the luxury and affordability to live in La La Land.
Man,
we don't.
You better wake up. You better wake up, and your partner better be locked in. If they running away from these topics, if they don't want nothing to do with that, if they're trying to, man, please believe me, because ain't no way that I would be with somebody and they're uncomfortable about this situation right here. Ain't no way, bro. Ain't no way. Because this is something that's very serious. And this is setting a precedent, okay? Kids make bad decisions. We already know that. They're young. But what we're not going to do is tell somebody if they're getting bullied, they can't defend themselves. Mm-hmm. And if they black, okay, and if you got a black child, because that's what they gonna see. They not gonna care about what they mix with, what their hair texture is. They not gonna care, bro. They gonna see a black child and they gonna say, if you did this, this is what's gonna happen to you. This is the reality. 35 years. 35 years, man.
Do you know how many stories I've come across from people who are biracial or mixed who say some of the same stories of how their white parent or the white side of their family treats them much differently than the black side?
Come on, man.
I've seen that so many times.
Hey, salute, man. Appreciate you pulling up. We up here, this is Torian, you know what I'm saying? He has a platform. We would love to hear your opinion. Go ahead, you have the floor. Let us know how you felt about the Karmelo Anthony verdict and what do you see moving forward. Thank you for pulling up. Are you there, Lynn? I don't know if you're muted.
Hello.
There you go. Yes, good. I can hear you perfectly.
Oh, I am so sorry. I thought you said Torian. Okay.
Nah, go ahead, Lynn.
Okay, I thought you were still in the person before me. No, I'm absolutely livid about this. I literally just submitted my homework for tonight I go to Purdue. And
okay.
I literally turned on YouTube, and then the first thing I see is that Asian hatred for the people who are, the community trying to boycott Asian businesses. And then next to that video, I see your video. And yeah. I just got the information. I'm still reeling from this. But, it's just crazy because this is simultaneously as they are letting this Asian man off for what he did in chasing this 14-year-old black boy down and killing him, shooting him in the back. You know what I'm saying?
100%.
I don't know how far they chased him away. It was over 100 some odd feet away from this establishment for a bottle of water. This is just like the situation when the black girl, I think she was 12 years old, wasn't she?
Yeah,
Um,
Latasha Harlins.
yes, who was,
Mhm.
and speaking of which, Natasha dolls are going viral right now because of China having these Natasha dolls, these little black dolls that you look like black babies, and you can literally beat them up and burn them and do all kinds of stuff to them. And that's the point. They're like these stress dolls. And it's
Yep.
literally because they're black. So it's like we got all these people constantly mad because we're delineating. We got all these people constantly mad because we are fighting for reparations. Then all of a sudden, everybody's on board with reparations when Africans get to dictate what's going on.
Come on.
It's ridiculous. So I'm like, I'm seeing how this simultaneously. Didn't they just pick the jury for this
Yep.
case, Carmelo, 6 days
Yeah,
ago?
I was watching, Neek at Night. She's been covering the case. She's been in the courtroom, she's been giving a great account and trying to be as unbiased as possible. But we already saw when she told me that they wanted to be done with this case by the 12th, I already knew what was going to happen. I already knew that they was going to try their best to create a narrative, right? And this was a narrative right here, right here. Right here. This is what was going on. And it's unfortunate because we've had to kind of deal with this from a real perspective where now you got these people who are literally colluded against him. You got Austin Metcalf's father, you got the judge, and you have Greg Willis, the DA. Okay, all this is starting to come out after the fact now,
Wow. So
which is
that's what
a
this
big
picture is.
conflict of interest, in my opinion. It's a huge conflict of interest, but okay, now we tripping, right? We doing too much. Like, get out of here, bro.
No, this is a major conflict of interest. Everyone knows that judge should have relieved himself or recused himself from this case. That doesn't make any sense. So he knows the family.
Yep.
I've never seen a verdict come out this quickly, except maybe a few cases where it's like the person is just egregious. Maybe they killed all their kids or something like that. But like, this is insane. This boy was defending himself. He had a knife. He was protecting himself. I used to carry knives to school when I was a kid because I
Yeah,
had
this,
knives
literally
coming out.
this.
You know what I'm
A
saying?
utility knife, not even a real knife, a utility knife,
And
like
you
a
gonna send him
keychain.
to jail for 35 years to prison
Man,
for defending himself. Wait. But he was in his own space. This boy was on the track team. He was at a track meet. He was on the field. Those two twins were not supposed to be there.
yeah, I think
But the dude and his son chased what's it called the boy, the 14-year-old black boy who they killed, down well away
mhm.
from their establishment. So it's like you're proving that simultaneously you're trying to show us that black people have no recourse. We simultaneously cannot defend ourselves in our own spaces, and we also can be killed and gunned down in other spaces when it doesn't even make sense and it's not self-defense. So I'm gonna leave it with this because I could be on here all day. But I got one last thing to say. I'm gonna leave it with this.
Go ahead.
We really need to continue doing what we're doing because this is what's making a lot of this stuff happen. This is why they're coming at us with this, these verdicts, and they're coming at us with all of these reparation moves and all this other stuff. They're trying to get us off our game because the delineation is working, because recognizing who we are and speaking truth into that. We already proved ourselves in a lot of ways as Black people throughout this country, throughout the history of this country, Civil War, all kinds of things. But
Oh yeah.
what we haven't done is politically solidify ourselves. And that's what we're doing now. So, when we look at Obama, when we look at Kamala, at the end of the day, even though we could kind of say, oh, okay, we made these strides with Black people, they're not foundational Black Americans. There's no freaking reason that we should be in America looking at the first Black vice and full president, and they're not us. How are
Man.
you saying this? What are you talking about? This is crazy. So let me get up off of here because I'll take over your whole show.
No, yeah, hey Lynn, appreciate you coming up.
I want to be interviewed. I would love to be interviewed. I don't know if you want to do it, but
No,
I am
yeah, let's
a pre-law student. I've been dealing with a lot of racial discrimination at my university, and it led me to actually they suspended me for a semester for allegedly calling a professor a coon, who was facilitating a hostile and racially hostile environment in his classroom, sending bad emails out talking shit about me to the white students in his class who he knew I had problems with, all kinds of shit. So besmirching my name. They ended up not doing anything about that. They suspended me, and now I am a 4.0 student at another university that's like 50 ranks above them.
Nice.
Hey, I appreciate you. Put your email in the chat, and then we'll link up behind the scenes so that we could, set that up. Because yeah, definitely want to link in with you. Obviously, I love the fact that you are pre-law. That will definitely be needed for what we're trying to do as foundational Black Americans. We need more of our people in the legal field. We need more of our people in law enforcement. We need more of our people to be infiltrated into these systems because they do the same thing. And I was looking at this comment right here where Joshi said they had the video and he stabbed him in the back of the car. If the jurors hadn't told the court that they'd find Karmelo innocent, we would have been good. And I 100% agree with that, bro. We need to stop like being so open about our motives, bro, because they don't do the same thing. They just gonna be racist. You feel me? They're not gonna tell you, oh, I'm gonna choose the white guy. No, they're just gonna be racist about it. So naturally, we gotta be on the same thing. We gotta be on the same time, man. We gotta start being more covert. We gotta start really organizing. You feel me? So thank you, Lynn. And I got your email right here. I'm gonna hit you up for sure, for sure. Thank you for coming up. And I hope you have a great night. Appreciate you. Yeah, so Torian, what you think about that, bro?
Oh, with the about the jurors?
Yeah, man.
Yeah, they messed up with that one. They should. Was it only one that said that, or was it more than one?
So apparently, the one who I guess was making it to like kind of the last couple jurors, he basically eliminated himself by saying that he didn't want to send a brother to prison. That was his word.
What happened?
You know what I'm saying? And so naturally, kind of, it went that way. You know what I'm saying? All right, so we got Unspoken. Hold on, let me pull you up here, Unspoken, 1 second. All right. Unspoken, thank you for pulling up. Appreciate you. Go ahead. I would love to hear your opinion on the Karmelo Anthony case. How did it make you feel? Any, ideas, certain things? You got the floor.
Hi, Brandon. Shout out to Long Beach. Okay. I'm originally from Culver City, by the way. So anyways.
Oh, man.
Yeah. So, well, first off, I just want to say thank you for doing this live because I was like, I got to get on a live with him. And this is, unfortunately, it's about the guilty verdict, but still, I appreciate you bringing the background of the rigged case, right?
Oh, yeah.
The rigged judge, everybody knowing each other. That's very much a Southern thing. We all know that, right? They're good old boys, right? They all know each other. They all rock with each other. And we kind of knew he was going to get a guilty verdict. We didn't think it was going to be 35 years. I literally just did a video because I had to get it off before I got on here. So I was like, and I'll edit it later. But anyway, so we knew he was going to get a guilty verdict because it's the South. Everybody, they're all good old boys. They all know each other. That's how they roll. But we didn't know it was going to be 35 years. But to me, and I said this with what I just did, but I think this is like a judicial lynching. And I think going forward, they're going to do more of these judicial lynchings because they're setting a precedent, right?
Oh, yeah.
Black people, if you try to stand up for yourself, you're not going to get equal justice under the law. And my solution for this, because if you've looked at my channel a little bit, but like, I don't just do the whole victim thing. I come with solutions because I'm really tired of us complaining about shit. We need to start moving. You understand? So I feel like we really need to start moving into states where we're the majority. and taking them over and using white flight against them. Because let me tell you something, they can rig the system when they're the majority or it's a whole bunch of immigrants with them because they're always going to vote with them, not with us, right? But they can't rig the system where we're 51%. But we have to start sacrificing, and that's a sacrifice because some of us don't want to live with each other. You know, we have moments where we can't stand each other, other moments where we love each other, and for better or for worse, we're your worst nigga and your best nigga. Okay, that's Black folks. Okay, like listen, you know what I'm saying? Like we have those moments where we're like, I can't stand these. I love these. Like, okay, but we have to know and really understand and understand that the only protection that we have is when we're moving as a block, when we're united, when we're with each other, like the Nation of Islam. And I'm going to leave it there. I'm going to let you speak for a minute.
Yeah, drop your channel in the chat for, you know what I mean, everybody watching. Unspoken has a great channel. She does great commentary. But yeah, I think it's important. Like we talk about over here is a lot of group economics, right? Because I'm a big like follower of Dr. Claude Anderson, and obviously he did an extensive study and books on group economics specifically for Black Americans. And it's very important, like you mentioned, like for us to start thinking in this way, where, like you mentioned, the density aspect of us being able to infiltrate into these spaces and going out of our way to make sure that we can do what we have to do to make sure that we protect ourselves. Because like you mentioned, like we got to insulate ourselves now because we're at danger. You know what I'm saying? We are the ones who are literally being targeted now. And from, I would say the outset, right, of when Donald Trump started to come into office and us delineating and making sure that we started to separate ourselves, those were the first parts of this. And that's what kind of ramped up all of this, you know, hatred and vitriol that we're starting to see, right? People are calling us xenophobic. People are going out of their way to try to label our group, right? So at the end of the day, I don't care, bro. Now it's time for us to lock in. You know what I'm saying? Now things start to really ramp up because they are using, like you mentioned, a judiciary lynching of this young brother. You know what I'm saying? For him defending himself. And that's why when I started this stream, I went through the history, the historical relevance of how these systems have been able to set up since the beginning of time, right? Since the 1600s, what they've been doing to our people. And a lot of people don't like to hear that, but it's real because this is not nothing new. And a lot of us now are starting to really have to be shown this. And I mean this, Black folks got to wake up now. You can't ignore this no more. As much as people wanted to get away and try to, you know, make sure that, oh yeah, you know, it's going to be all right. We need, nah, man, that's done. Those days are done. They are showing us what time it is. And it's on Black folks to now get it going, to start waking up. And like you mentioned, start organizing, because ain't no time to waste. Like, ain't no time to waste. Like, we really got to start locking in, because otherwise we're going to start seeing more young brothers who are trying to defend themselves or in these type of predicaments in these towns, right? Because I've been also seeing other content creators talking about this. Frisco, Texas is not the place for Black folks.
Oh, absolutely not. Like, most of Texas is not. I've driven through Texas before.
Yeah. And so that part, that's a key here, is the fact that a lot of these people moving out of the hood, right, and trying to go to these suburban areas. And like you mentioned, you from Cali, I'm from Cali, right? And when I was growing up, my family, I always talk about this, but this is real. When I was growing up in middle school, my family moved from Long Beach to Orange County. And at the time, obviously my parents thought that was a great idea. But it's very funny, the town that we moved to, which was La Mirada, that same town, the dude who started that little all-white town in the Ozarks and wherever that is in the Carolinas, he's from La Mirada. Okay, so that gives you just the idea and the ideology of where that type of stuff comes from. And that I knew when I was in middle school. You feel me? I'm like, nah, we don't need to be here.
California has sundown towns.
Yeah, man. So I just, you know,
Culver City was a sundown town, and Burbank.
yeah,
You know that? Yeah. But like, the thing is it really comes down to self-love for Black people. And I feel like a lot of us, we really don't love ourselves. And we always want to make excuses as for why we can't deal with each other. But we've got to start moving past this shit. And we've got to start understanding that if we don't operate with each other and start to love each other and start to come back to being spiritual beings, which I talked about in the video I did today that I'm about to post later. If we don't really start understanding we are the chosen people, we are God's people for real. There's nobody more moral than Black people. Who's more moral than us? And that's what I said. Like, Karmelo did not intentionally say, okay, today I'm going to go under the rival team's tent and unalive a dude. He had a reason for being under that tent, as we always have a reason for doing usually what we're doing 99% of the time. And then, the dude said something to him. It got aggressive. Did he have to blade him? No. But he could have got jumped and he could have died. See, nobody talks about that. He could have got jumped and he could have died.
They would have preferred that was the outcome.
That part.
Of course. But that's what we're supposed to listen. You're not supposed to protect yourself when you're Black. Get this, Black people. You're not ever supposed to protect yourself. We're supposed to be just docile. I don't know, boss. I was just, I saw I was in his head. They want us to act stupid, be stupid, play dumb. But when we start to rise up, it's like, this is why we have to have protection in numbers. This is why the Nation of Islam stays in their little cocoon. Because nobody wants to deal with the FOI showing up in unison, 1,000 men deep outside the police station, which they will.
Yeah, man.
That's our only way.
And look, all these racists in the chat, like, y'all proving our point. You know what I'm saying? We over here talking amongst ourselves, and y'all in the chat talking about.
That's what literally what they've been doing all day. Like, if you were talking about this case, if you had Karmelo Anthony anywhere in your title, they literally was in there like a shark that smelled blood.
Man,
they did it in my chat earlier.
They're foaming at the mouth for this little.
Y'all should be out there. Y'all should be out there dancing around a cat right about now. I thought it's funny. Like, they were the ones that wanted this to happen, and like, we over here talking about like how messed up it is, but y'all was up there talking about like y'all was waiting for this to happen. Like, I thought someone in there talking about a pity party, but like, you're over here. But like I said, they cannot mind their business.
Look at this. Like, okay, we're excusing a murderer, right? But he should have kept his hands to himself. None of this happens if Austin and his brother mind their business. That's y'all problem. Y'all never minding y'all business. Y'all always want to be the authority. You always want to tell somebody what to do. And he learned the hard way. Too bad, so sad. He learned the hard way. So unfortunate.
And you know what? Oh, sorry, Torian. Go on, Torian.
And now also what they're trying to do is they're trying to make it seem like, they've been putting out this narrative that white people have been under attack so much, like they're being oppressed, and they're trying to use us as the ones that's saying that they're being attacked or anything like that. That's what they're going to use. Watch what they try to do with this right here. They're going to be like, we got someone who, it's gonna be. I can't even explain it because that's how ridiculous it is.
And you know what, bro? I hate that nowadays we live in this space where like this is content, because this is somebody's life. This isn't just content. Like, obviously we're going to talk about this because we need to raise awareness, but in reality, like, this isn't just content, and it's content to them. You know what I'm saying? They want to embolden their base, right? They want to go out of their way to try to, get a couple of dollars off of somebody's life, bro. His life will never be the same after this.
I got an episode about that coming out. That's the future of content like this. That's the future.
Yeah, and we've already seen it, right?
Now.
Yeah, because look, Charlie Kirk lost his life because of this type of content. Ooh, they don't want to talk about that. Charlie Kirk lost his life because of this type of content.
Was literally his last words.
Who said that?
Come on, man. Y'all don't want to talk about that though, right? Y'all don't want to talk about the fact that Charlie Kirk lost his life because of this type of content that y'all love to make. Oh yeah, sorry I had to bring it up, but this is just the facts. straight up. And now you got Admiral Fuddle who has to go around with armed security to go and try to
Calling
debate.
him by his real name.
Come on, man. We ain't
Well, the
finna
white
play
supremacists are taking major L's right now. They're taking. Let me tell you something. Nothing can bring Austin back. And I don't. It doesn't matter how much they gloat. Unfortunately, he's dead. It's not a good thing that he's dead. It's not. Trust me, Carmelo and I talk about this. How he needs to really ask God for forgiveness on a personal level, because I think he feels the pain of this, of taking someone's life. Nobody wants to do that unless they're a psychopath. You don't want to kill somebody. You
and
understand?
you can offer the witness accounts too. He didn't want this to happen. He didn't think that Austin was going to pass away. He didn't.
Not.
He really thought, okay, like I'm trying to get out of here. I'm trying to defend myself. He didn't want this to happen, and that's their problem. They're trying to put this on him like it was premeditated, and it wasn't.
Yep.
It was in the moment. It was an act of defense. He didn't really know what was going to happen. So what did he do? He defended himself and tried to get up out of there, but he didn't run. He waited for the police. He gave a statement.
Right.
He said, "I did
that part."
You know what I'm saying? He took accountability for his actions.
Yep.
And they still want to put him down because of that. And that's your problem. That's the evil spirit that's within you guys. Right?
And they
not
about
us.
to use him as a proxy. They about to use
there you
him
go.
as a proxy for all young black men or young black girls around that age. They are about to really use him as a proxy. So if this does happen again in the future, they're always going to revert back to him and bring his name up.
Man.
Well, and I want to talk about how, like, the brainwashing in American society today through the media, through the fake multiculturalism, is really destroying our youth, because they really believe that they're equal to these other people. Like, they really be out here with these white kids. Like, oh, we're all free. We're all apart. No, you're not free. Like, we really have to understand, at any moment's notice, it could be over for you. And that happened to my cousin, actually, in Ohio. Like, he used to hang out with a lot of white kids because he went to a white high school. And every time they would get pulled over, he was the only one that ever got harassed. Like, don't you understand? These people will throw you under the bus. They will leave you for dead. Like, I'm not telling you to not have a white friend, okay? Because I have friends that are white, but they know me. They know I'm 10 toes down, rooted in blackness. Like, I'm going to go there. I'm going to make them uncomfortable. So if they really like me, they understand who I am and they accept it, right? But a lot of black people don't have friends like that are white or that are Hispanic. They have fake friendships where they never discuss race, where they never get uncomfortable. And if you've never gotten uncomfortable with your non-black friend, you're not friends with that person.
And Karmelo had to learn the hard way. You know what I'm saying? That Eddie Parra guy, Karmelo really thought that was his friend.
Yeah, right.
Okay? He really thought that was his friend. He really thought that him and Eddie had a connection. They were going on dates together. He was coming to family parties, all this stuff. But as soon as things went bad, he immediately turned his back and showed him who he really was. And a lot of us, a lot of us have to get to that reality. You feel me?
Josh YG in the UK, they stab all the time and they're alive. So what are you talking about? Like, I'm not saying that people get stabbed. I've met people with stab wounds. What are you talking about? People survive a stabbing all the time.
And this was the weapon. Knife. Okay, right. Josh, make this
I guess
clear.
Now they're gonna have to outlaw
this was the weapon. Okay, it was a utility knife. It wasn't
crazy. That's nothing. Okay? That's nothing. They walk around with blades in the UK. They walk around with swords in the damn UK.
Come on, Josh. Be smarter than that, bro. Wake up. Don't say ignorant things. You don't understand what's going on.
You know what it is? Whenever it is when it comes to black people, they always have to overblow it. They always have to over exaggerate something so minuscule into something so big. Because when I first heard about the knife, because they never really described what the knife was until I saw what it was, I'm thinking that Carmelo Anthony went up there trying to be like Michael Myers or something like that. Right. They kept describing this knife, and when I saw it was literally that, I was like, are you kidding me? Y'all made it seem like this dude came to that and trapped me with a machete in his backpack.
Come on, man. And look,
because he's the big bad black wolf. That's
right, and
Exactly.
and salute to Tia. That's what we talking about, like a real conversation about bullying. Okay, can we have a real conversation about that and the fact that there are consequences for what you do in life? Okay, you put your hands on somebody, you cannot dictate how they react. That is what a lot of men. Okay, this we gonna talk about men too. Okay, this is man stuff right now. Okay, as a man, you put your hands on somebody, you don't know what they're gonna do to you, and that
Exactly.
was his father's job. Okay, his father was supposed to do that for him, but guess what? His father did. His father got his ass whooped by his own son. That's why his arm
wow.
was in that sling. Okay, so when we
That's
talking about
wild.
consequences, how is his son gonna know when his son is beating up his daddy? Okay,
Crazy.
let's keep it real. All right, if we're gonna talk about bullying, let's talk about it for real. Okay, I'll tell you guys, right? I come from a two-parent household, right? I have immense respect for my father. There would never be a time that me and my dad would get into it and I would put my hands on my father. Why? Because I respect my father.
Dang.
If you putting your hands on your daddy, you got a problem. There's something wrong with you. But guess what? You want to know why he did that? Because his dad used to beat his mother. But we ain't gonna talk about that though, huh?
Oh yeah, I
we gonna
bet.
leave all
Yes,
this.
a pattern.
Continued.
A pattern,
Or the
yep.
cycle,
Come on,
ended
man.
that day, as a matter of fact.
But y'all want to talk about Karmelo being a what did you say, a violent murderer? Karmelo
Oh,
came.
I tell you.
A joke.
I can tell you who's someone who's violent, and it's someone that they ain't talk about. Look up the story about this kid. Well, I don't know, not necessarily a kid. Well, actually, he might be. I think he was a minor. I think he is a minor because I think he was 16. Happened last year. Did y'all hear about the story about Timothy Hudson?
Nah.
No.
Timothy Hudson. He was on a family carnival cruise trip with, it was him, his mother, I believe his dad or something like that, his half brother and his stepsister. He while they was alone, I guess he had went back to the room and the stepsister was in the room because they all shared a room. He went in there and he violated his own stepsister, and then he strangled her to death. So much, in fact, that it was so violent that that her eardrums got ruptured.
Woo.
And then he stuffed her under the bed and then walked out of the room and roamed around the ship like nothing happened. And then, fast forward to a couple of months later, he ended up only having to, like, right now, he is currently on house arrest with his uncle. And here's the crazy part about it. This is not the first time he's done some creepy activity with the stepsister, or tried to, because apparently a few months before that, the stepsister was on a FaceTime call with her ex-boyfriend, and she fell asleep on the call because she probably just got tired. Luckily, the ex-boyfriend didn't hang up the FaceTime call because he said he looked in the background and saw this weird figure walk into her room and try to climb into the bed with her, and it turned out to be the same stepbrother that killed her on that ship months later.
Disgusting behavior.
Well, remember, all these Lifetime movies and all these documentaries you see on Netflix that you think are entertainment or real life, they're showing us who they are all the time, but we think that shit is entertainment.
That part.
Honey, no. Like that
True
Netflix
crime
documentary,
stories.
like what? Like all these Lifetime, exactly, true time
Yeah,
stories.
right
Like
about that.
y'all, like they tell us who we are right in our face every single day. We're the ones who thinks it's all fun and games.
Man, salute
She
Tia.
ain't
She
lying about them
says,
step.
hold
She
on, let
ain't
me
lying
read
about them
this
step
real
like
quick to
Lifetime
y'all.
movies.
Tia says, I remember several cases of straight A students being bullied and resorted to a weapon because the rest of the adults in the situation don't like the bullied child. They hope you go away, not the bully. Yeah, man. And that's I mean, we could look at how the witnesses were colluding, right, to try to make Karmelo seem like he was in the wrong spot. Meanwhile, Karmelo thought he was among friends. They don't want to talk about this though. This Eddie Parra guy literally welcomed him underneath the tent before the Metcalf twins even got there. Now it's Karmelo. Now he the one who tripping. Okay, bro. Y'all got problems, man. Hold on. Let's see what else he's got. He says Karmelo is the one who has something wrong. How, bro? How, when we just told you what was going on with the family? You don't think families matter when it comes to how a kid is raised and the way that he treats other people? You must not come from a family, though. You must not
And they
understand
keep
family dynamics.
in this
CMP's a
troll.
troll. He's a
Yeah,
troll.
the
That
troll.
part.
Yeah, that's clearly the troll. But they keep putting that in it because it's also a mental thing. They try to
Mhm.
convince us of what Carmelo Anthony is that they know that he is not. They figure if they say it over and over again, that it'll work on us. I'm sorry, you're gonna have to wake up pretty early and go to bed very late in order to try to pull your little whack Jedi mind trick over on me.
That part.
Let me tell you something. Black folks, we don't give a damn what white people think.
That
And
part.
Carmelo, listen, honey, all that matters is how we feel about you because we're the only
Mm-hmm.
people that actually give a damn about you. Nobody else cares. And we need to start realizing that it doesn't matter how white people feel about us because they don't like us as a group, not individually, but as a group.
Mhm.
Lynn, I'm going to let Lynn speak.
Yeah, go for it. Go for
Hey,
it.
yeah, thank you. What do you call it? The comment that you just read about the schools and the bullying and the straight A students, like I said, I'm a 4.0 student. This is exactly what I was, trying to be interviewed about, and hopefully we can still do that. But I just wanted to chime
Yeah.
in and let it be known that this is what I was complaining about. I got the first Black man hired. They made a new position for him, equal opportunity enforcer at St. Louis University, which is the university in question that was
Mhm.
discriminating against me. I also found out that my family, the Wilsons, might be some of the enslaved people who built the institution back in the 1800s, but they won't let me know if that is actually the situation. And I kept trying to figure that out. And I think that's part of the reason that they came against me. But what do you call it? All of the years that I was working there, or that I was attending there, I was being bullied. I was being assaulted by white female students, pushed everywhere I went, pushed through doorways. I ended up in a splint at one point, my arm, because my arm was damaged, and my mother had to take me to the emergency room. And what do you call it? I had white male students spitting at me. I had people chasing me in sundown town situations where, in my own hometown of St. Louis, Missouri, I was being told that, oh no, what are you doing here? You're in the wrong neighborhood. You don't belong here. And all this other shit. I'm just like, are you serious? Like, it's crazy. And this is from a person who has lived in, you can tell by how I speak. Not only do I come from the hood, but I also, for a nice amount of my childhood, the latter part of my childhood, come from white counties as well in St. Louis and
Mhm.
Fenton and Jefferson County and stuff. So I didn't experience things to this degree until I came to further my education at a prominent university in St. Louis. So I just wanted to point that out, how, this is the type of stuff that happens. They allow you to go through this kind of bullying on a regular basis. They do nothing about it. They continue to tell me they couldn't find the camera footage. Oh, it's not available. Oh, this, that, and the third. There's supposed to be cameras all over the campus. But just to end it, what I was saying about the equal opportunity officer, the Black man who I got hired, I had to speak with Justin Lacey, and he was the director of um, the what was originally called the Diversity and Equity Inclusion Office, and then they changed the name to the Equal Opportunity Office after Trump took office and started doing what he was doing. And what do you call it? I looked at the office, and it was completely white people. I was like, there's no one here except white people in the Equal Opportunity Office. I'm not understanding, the Diversity and Equity Inclusion Office ain't diverse. So I went and I had a meeting with him. I brought all this research about why these things need to happen, why we need racial diversity and things like that. And he was like, well, we've got gay people here. We've got, people with military parents here and all this other stuff. I'm like, that is not what is covered federally by the legislation that we're talking about, the federal legislation that protects people for affirmative action and things like that, before it was taken. So it was just ridiculous. But anyway, long story short, after I had this meeting with him, 6 months later, that Black man was hired, and it was the first person who wasn't white. And he was given a new position of equal opportunity enforcer. So I know that they suspended me for a semester, saying that I called a professor a coon. I know they did that specifically because, yes, they did that specifically. And this is after this man besmirched my name, sent disseminated emails all throughout the campus talking shit about me to white students and stuff like that. Oh yeah. So they did nothing about it. And then the moment that they said we can find an email where you might have called him a coon, oh no, well we know you didn't use his name in the email, but we think you were talking about him. So yeah, we're gonna suspend you for a semester. Now I'm a 4.0 student at Purdue. So
Congratulations. But yeah, that's corporate America. Like obviously I talk about corporate America a lot because I have an extensive history in corporate America. You know what I'm saying? And working in those spaces, being in those boardrooms, being at those tables, you understand real quick, it's not just about how you look. It's a lot of nepotism that goes on. A lot of people who know somebody who knows somebody. And that does not apply for people who look like us. You know what I'm saying? I had to constantly prove myself and my credentials. I had to constantly you know what I'm saying, compensate for everything that I was bringing to the table. And it's very interesting, you know, because obviously we tell our youth, right? We tell them to shoot for the stars, right? We tell them to get a good job and work real hard. But a lot of times that doesn't equate to what would equate for them. And that's unfortunate, you know what I'm saying? And that's why it's so important for us to create our spaces and start more businesses and be in these spots, you know what I'm saying? Get those credentials that are necessary, right? Because at the end of the day, there has to come a time where we do have to separate ourselves from these people. And I truly believe that. Like, that's the only way we're going to be able to have the foundation that's necessary for us to completely not have to rely on nobody else, man. Because right now, obviously, yes, we want to make sure that we separate and boycott, and those things are great. But we can't do that without the infrastructure that's necessary for the group economics, for us to really capitalize on that black dollar, right? Because it's out here. We all doing well. Every person that I know has a job. They're working, they're staying sustainable, they're doing what they got to do. But we also have to take that a little bit further now and start putting that money together and stop being so single-minded. You know what I'm saying? It can't just be one person getting it. We all got to get it together. And we can't just talk about it no more. It got to start happening rapidly, because this type of stuff, it really today, you know what I'm saying? It's really pissed me off. You know what I mean? Like, obviously, I'm a very passionate person, but today this really pissed me off, man. I can't speak for everybody, but yeah, I felt some type of way because I identify with Karmelo. You know what I'm saying? I identify with him coming from a 2-parent household, coming from a very stable home. You know what I'm saying? I grew up with a lot of privileges because I came from a great family. I'm very proud of the family that I come from. And I understand what he's going through as far as like he was just doing his best. And unfortunately, sometimes these things happen. And it's very sad that this is the reality now that he has to look at. You know what I'm saying? I can't imagine what's going through his mind right now. I can't imagine how his parents feel. You know what I mean? I've been seeing some people very critical of his parents, and I hate that we're moving into that spot right now, because his parents did the best that they could. And I'm sure they hired that lawyer with the pretense thinking that he was going to do the right thing. But unfortunately,
and
this is where we at, you know?
I want to talk about that lawyer too, because Nick at Night was talking about how there were a lot of things that he missed, right? And she's not a lawyer, but we all know what we know, right? So we can see when somebody's not giving their all or not giving their best. And at first I was thinking, no, they shouldn't call Karmelo up to the stand. But honestly, I think they should have called him up to the stand, because nobody ever knew why he had the knife. Like, that's like basic like, why do you have a knife on you, right? Like, just to hear his voice and give him coaching before, so he can come across as like, somebody that they could be empathetic to, because everybody knows, like, in that law world, you do have to coach your client sometimes, because everybody it's all about how the jury sees you, not how you really are, but how you're coming across to the jury. So coaching is involved, but it's like a lot of stuff was missing. It's almost like he didn't really want to fight too hard, because maybe he was scared that he would die. Because it's Texas. And that's why I'm telling you, nothing has changed, right? Where was he staying? Because back in the day, our lawyers would come down from the north to support Black Southern people, as we always did, right? Or the West Coast. And they would stay in black neighborhoods, in black B&Bs, because we couldn't stay in the hotels. But guess what? We were protected in that black neighborhood. That lawyer was probably staying in a hotel where it's white, everybody knows each other, it's the good old boys, and they can easily get in his hotel, kill him inside or something like that. We don't know if he could have been afraid, but he really should have been staying with the Anthonys, if you really want to know. And he should have went as hard as he possibly could and then got the hell up out of there after, you know. But he might have been afraid for his life, honestly, because like she said, they were out there intimidating people. This is the South. They've all got weapons. This is very much a goon situation, a thuggery situation.
Oh yeah. And I think as well, you know, I don't want it to sound this way, but it's true. It's like him showing that emotion and that remorse for what happened, because obviously he showed it in the evidence, right? In the body cam footage and everything that they kind of have the corresponding of him, he was saying his remorse and taking accountability for what happened. I don't see why that's a problem for him to get on the stand and say that too. You know what I'm saying? And like you mentioned, like it didn't make sense to me, because it's like this brother is fighting for his life. Like, why would you guys not let him speak his piece and let him explain what happened? And like you mentioned, why would he have that? Obviously, this was what he had. Hold on, let me take this fool down. But this is what he had. And if it's just a keychain type of utility knife, he can explain that very easily. Hey, this was a utility knife. It's kind of like a keychain. I keep it on me, whatever. You know what I'm saying? But to not give him the openness to explain himself, that's negligence on the lawyer team. And it really pissed me off, because like you mentioned, it went by so fast. Like I've never seen a case go by this fast, y'all. I've never seen this before. Yes, this was the fastest trial I've seen. Same. Like I've never seen a case this fast. I've never seen this.
I do want to say though that I think that part of obviously the main motivation for him not testifying and his attorney having him not testify is the common reason that we should all know by now, which is that you are going to have to face cross-examination.
Yeah. And
as a person who was in a case myself, actually for my brother, who both of our sperm donor killed him June 11, 2003, and hid his body. His name's Christian Ferguson, my brother. It's the case that's probably one of the most big cases of missing persons in St. Louis, Missouri, and in Missouri. But what you call it, you can just look up my name and testimony or what is it, cross-examination or something. But hour and 15 minutes of my cross-examination and examination is up. And it just gives you an idea of like, you have to deal with both of these attorneys. And there was a lot of like, back and forth between me and the defense attorney for my sperm donor. And it actually made for some pretty good TV, but what you call it, I held my own, but I was 27, 28 when this happened, when I finally went to trial for this 20 plus years after my brother was killed in front of me by our sperm donor. So, and his body was hidden somewhere and nobody ever believed me all these 20 plus years until now, until 2022. So when we put him away for life for that and for some shit that he did to my stepsister, including the reason that I now have a sister, because he impregnated my younger stepsister. And now that's her daughter is my half niece, step sister, whatever the hell that is. I don't even know. I haven't even met her. She's got my name and she's got my brother's name. It's crazy. But what do you call it? Middle names. But it's just crazy because it's just like, what do you call it? The cross-examination, there was a moment in there, maybe a few moments when I was just like, oh, okay, maybe I said too much. And it's like, I was 27 years old or 28 years old when I was testifying. So like with this dude being, how old is he? 17, 16?
17.
Yeah. So like, as smart, as intelligent as he is, I'm sure, they were probably worried about that. So that is a big thing because you could very easily get caught up, get angered by this adult man coming at you as an attorney, an experienced attorney of all these years. You really need to be an attorney to be on the stand to take that kind of scrutiny and cross-examination.
But Lynn, all I'll say to that is when you're fighting for your life, you're gonna have to do what you're gonna have to do. And when you have a really good
100%.
lawyer, they're gonna prepare you for that cross, and they're gonna go so low and act like the other lawyer and go so low and say the craziest things to trip you up to prepare you. And also, it's just about training the mind to understand, like, everything they're going to say to you is so you can say this. So when you really properly prepare, it's like when you properly prepare for a test, you can pass the test, but are you properly prepared for the test? Like, did you actually really study for the test? And when you're fighting for your life, I would hope that the prep for the cross would be A1, and that you would be hella studying for that test. Like, just, I mean, it's just
Right.
like, it's what you got to do. You know what I'm saying? And that's another thing. It's like, I really think that lawyer feared for his life. It's Texas, man. And
Yeah.
nothing's changed. And we don't have no protection. If it would have been Houston, maybe. But I really think there's no protection.
Yeah, I agree. I think that there's obviously, like you all saw, you know what I'm saying? We get all these racists in the chat. So I can only imagine, you know what I'm saying? We're representing somebody who they have, vitriol for, and they don't even know, you know what I'm saying? And they're going out of their way to, antagonize, dox, right? I mean, they doxed the original judge. I don't know if you guys remember this. Remember when there was an original judge? She was a black woman. What? And she lowered his bail so that he could get out on bail. Remember that? They doxed her and she had to go into hiding. They put her in witness protection because she was getting so many threats from these people. Okay. So you guys are right, man. There's definitely some incentive for that to, kind of be a factor at play, because obviously that judge, who was originally on the case that got his bail lowered, they literally doxed her, put her address online, had her, getting all these threats and unaliving threats. Like, I can only imagine what his lawyer was hearing. You know what I'm saying?
These are great grounds for an appeal. Sorry, go ahead, Unspoken. But these
an appeal. Yeah, go on.
Oh, I'm sorry, y'all. Yeah, but
no, that's what I was gonna say. Go ahead, Unspoken.
No, you're right. These are great grounds for an appeal, and you were going to make your point about why. So I want you to make that point.
Oh, most definitely. I mean, just the obvious reasons. You have all of these egregious connections. This reason that, he should have recused himself from the case in the first place. I mean, this family, you have a clearly contradictory relationship. Then you also have the accusations of the attorney possibly not providing what we would call a zealous defense of their client. You do have to be, that is one of the ethical guidelines as an attorney. I'm not an attorney. I'm just a legal assistant. I start law school next year. So I'm not even in law school.
Not an attorney yet. Not an attorney. I'm an attorney in the making. I'm an attorney in the making. But you are an attorney with your mind, because you're an attorney first in your mind, and then you get the paper.
Right on.
I heard that. But yeah,
I think this plays a part too, right here. Yeah. This plays a huge part in what I think should have been a straight up hung jury. All this definitely plays a part in the fact that there are literal pictures and evidence that show there is a connection between Jeff Metcalf, the judge, John Roach, and Greg Willis, the DA. Okay. Chucking it up, friendly. Okay. All this should 100% play a part in Karmelo going for, hey, man, we need to do a retrial. We need to go ahead and appeal this, because obviously there is a huge amount of collusion that's going on right now. And it's pretty self-explanatory. Like, you can't really make any other explanation for a picture. Okay. This is a picture. All right. Whatever they got to say, they can say, but look at this. Like, come on, y'all. Like, what are we talking about here? Like, this is just facts. Like, if this is what's going on and this is what he was up against, come on, man. This been tainted from the beginning, unfortunately. You know what I'm saying? Because they always talk about, oh yeah, I would rather be, what do they say? Judged by 12 than carried by 6. Well, it's hard to do that when you got these type of people in collusion together. All right. And like I said at the beginning of this stream, absolute power corrupts absolutely. Okay.
Yes.
No other saying is more self-explanatory than that. All right. We've been dealing with these white supremacists and this white supremacist system since they literally said that we got here. Okay. Which is also a lie. But anyways, you know what I'm saying? At the end of the day, we already know what's going on. This is something that's literally, and I feel like he should get a whole new legal team and go for that, because that's stuff that definitely can't be ignored. Like, come on, y'all. What are we talking about?
Definitely. And I want to throw in as well the process of getting these judges out of here. We need to focus on that as well. We need to start educating ourselves on what these judges, who these judges are in our districts, so that before we go up to vote, like we usually do for the midterms and for the local elections and for the for the presidential election, we need to go up and we need to vote for retention or vote against retention. So usually in most states, you can't actually vote for the judge, but you can vote to have them retained or to not have them retained. So you can basically get them out of there. You just can't put them in there. So until we can figure out a better way to shape this system and get better candidates, we at the very least need to do what we can to get these people out of there when they are, ruling on cases like this. So definitely. We also need to figure out how to educate ourselves better with the law. The reason that I'm in school right now for what I'm in school for is because I've been going through so many things all my life. And I hit 27 and I said, forget it. And I said, I'm going to school and I'm going to study this stuff and I'm going to go, become an attorney and fight for my rights and fight for my people. One of the main motivation for my legal career is reparations for foundational Black Americans. So I've been studying that deeply throughout college. I've written almost every paper, made every assignment, try to tie into it. It's crazy. Like,
yeah, we gonna need that, because this is definitely the time. We're getting close. Things are starting to shift, and that's why I think a lot of this is starting to happen, because they feel that shift too. There's something like Unspoken was kind of speaking on, is there's something spiritual that's happening right now. It's not just about what we doing physically, but there is also a spiritual backing that we're getting, right? And the fact of the matter is, like, everybody else understands that shift, and the fact that this country is literally going in the direction that it's going in, you can't tell me that the time ain't now. The time is now. And I feel like all these things happening consecutively, like me and Torian was talking about earlier, you had Ashley Gonzalez. She was speaking for the Latinos and the Hispanic community, right? All right, cool, got y'all. Then we had Rick Choi, right? He's speaking for the Asian community, and y'all saw how they started acting, okay? And now Karmelo, he's also a metaphor for what the white supremacists wanted, and now it's time. Like, we cannot play no more. Everything that I'm doing this for a specific purpose, because I'm being real with y'all. I could have created a channel and been totally anonymous, never show my face, and completely just cooked these races. But I'm out here putting myself out here because I'm actually willing to do that. I'm doing real work in my community. Everybody knows this. I run a food bank right here in Long Beach with my family. We do what we can in our community. And not only that, I'm also, like I mentioned, I come from an extensive history working in business and in corporate America. All right. So I got blood, sweat, and tears in this game. And I have a lot of wealth of knowledge that I bring onto my channel. And I'm willing to put myself out here for the risk and the betterment of our people. Right. And it's going to take all of us collectively to doing our parts. Right. And to raise awareness. And to, not only that, we all risking this. You know what I'm saying? I can't imagine what Nick at Night feels right now. She put herself out there. She was out there every day. You know what I'm saying? Against racists, face to face, having to move different now. You know what I'm saying? They doxing her. They putting her kids on the internet. Okay? These are the type of people that we dealing with, y'all. So it's time. Like, we can't mess around no more, because social media is different now. And Unspoken spoke on that. This is now content to these people. So we got to move different. We got to be careful. We got to look out for one another, because the stakes couldn't be higher. You know what I'm saying?
But so why I just want to say real quick why I have an
Yeah.
audio only podcast is because I feel like our people are too focused on how we look, if it's good in
Yes.
their eyes, if it's bad in their eyes. And I'm an attractive woman, but I don't want to lead with that. So me
That part.
personally, I want people to sit and listen to what I'm saying and be like, damn, that's deep. And I want them to be like,
Facts.
I like what she's saying, not how she looks, because it's really not about how I look. It's about what I'm saying and whether you
Message.
resonate with the message or not, and whether I'm helping you or not. And so
Yeah.
that's why I'm an audio only podcast, because
Yeah.
I used to do radio in college. So I come from a
Mhm.
radio background and I love to talk and I got things to say. And I don't want to have to be worried about my hair and, oh, does my hair look nice today? Do I need makeup? And you know what I'm saying? Because
And
Black
it's
folks
for
are
your
very
safety.
critical.
It's for your
I'm
safety.
just saying my part because I'm the faceless person. So people will be like, damn,
Nah,
he said that.
yeah.
So I'm just saying
I don't mean that
why,
to disrespect, obviously. You know what
No,
I'm saying?
I know you didn't. That's why I'm
Yeah,
just
yeah.
I'm saying this to the people in the comments. Because
Yeah,
I think
word.
you understand, because we know what we know. But like just for
Mhm.
the people in the comments, if they go to my page, yeah, like no, I'm not trying to let you stay on my because when you're a woman, it's different from being a man. You know
Yes,
that. So
100%.
I'm not trying to have you stay on my page to look at me. I'm
There
trying to
you
have
go.
you come to Unspoken Why YouTube podcast to listen to me. So just so
Yeah.
y'all know, if y'all go over there, that's why.
Yeah, and that's the point is like, a lot of y'all are doing real work and it's important. You feel me? It's so important because right now we have to get to this work because if we weren't here, could you imagine what the internet would be? Could you imagine how rampant it would be with all these racists? You know what I'm saying? And it's crazy because literally like it's funny,
They're obsessed
'cause-
with us.
yeah, and they like I mentioned, the algorithm, the way the internet is set up, it helps and it encourages this type of behavior. And that's what sometimes I get really bent out of shape sometimes. And that's why sometimes I'll be having a love-hate relationship with this social media stuff, is because it encourages and it gives an incentive for these racists to be able to do what they want to do because they can get millions of views talking down on Black Americans. There's an incentive for that. You know what I'm saying? There's a whole lane of people who literally every day get on the internet talking down on Black Americans and Black people at large, and they get millions of views. They're literally getting super chats and all types of stuff. And it's like, okay, well, when we speak on the contradictory side of that and we debunk what they're saying, oh, our channels are getting striped, our channels are getting taken down, we can't get no views.
But you
know what I'm
who's doing
saying?
well though, Brandon. You know who's doing
Yes.
well is Poetic Flacco. And he
Right.
showed his YouTube monetization money. It's crazy. Like, and all he's been doing is talking about Chud, like in a negative way. So,
Yep.
we making money off the racists now too.
Right.
We're making money off of your racism,
Yep.
but yet check this. Your whole existence in white society is irrelevant unless you're discussing us. Oh, let's talk. Because you ain't got nothing. Who's checking for you unless you? So you literally have to go harass Black people. You have to go talk about Black people who are nothing compared to you. I mean, you said we're nothing. But yet you can't even. Your whole existence is based on downing us. But yet we're quote nothing. Make it make sense.
And we're so creative, we don't even need them. We don't even need them to have content. You know what I'm saying? We so creative. There's so many different creators who have so many different lanes who are doing great things. We don't even need them, but they need us. Like you mentioned, that's facts. Like they need us for their content, whatever you want to call it.
Man, we make their world go round, man. Come on, man.
That part.
They come to us for content.
I'm just kidding.
No, go ahead.
No, I'm just kidding. No, shouts out to the real white folks, though. You know, the real white people that are actually like real human beings. And I do know some of them.
Mm-hmm.
Shouts out to them. I love you. I got a lot of, if you're a real human being and you just happen to be white, shouts out to you. Because we need y'all to stand up and talk to your people and check your people in these conference rooms behind closed doors. And they say funny things, things they shouldn't say. We need y'all to check each other. You know what I'm saying? We need you to check, and we need you to put your neck out on the line if you're a real ally. That's what you do. We don't need to keep telling. We're done telling y'all anything. You know what to do. You got your marching orders. You feel me? Just do it.
Mm-hmm. That
And
part.
that is so true. LeVar Jones, that comment is so true because this is what I tell people all the time. I sing in 8 languages in every genre of music. And the reason that I'm able to sing as well as I am is because of the pain that I've been through. You know, what I told you earlier about my brother,
Mm-hmm.
my own personal situations, all of this stuff leads us through and, bleeds into us. And this racism, oh my gosh, is so inspirational.
Oh
It's so
yeah.
inspirational, and it's the definition of turning lemonade or lemons into lemonade. Like that's it, or Colorado.
Listen, they want us to leave, but yet they wouldn't even exist without us. Literally.
Yeah,
We're
we
the
the
lemons that make the lemonade. They're the water.
we
Like,
are
and
the
that's from the
secret.
beginning. That's from working the plantation. If there was no us,
Mhm.
you can't build America. America could not get rich without free labor.
That part.
Free. Do you understand? So like they've always needed us. We've never needed them.
No. And we've been able to build, you know what I'm saying? And we are the ones who are the innovators, the creators, the ones who started. We were the ones. We taught them how to cultivate land. We taught them the skill sets that were necessary to make what they consider America great. Like, come on, man. Like, this is crazy, man. All right, so let's see. What is this guy talking about? The 7076 guy. You don't need anyone to create content. You make it yourselves. Acting low IQ, uncontrollable. Okay, well, guess what? We've been over here having a very controlled conversation with none of you guys here. We've been
That doesn't
having
even
a
make
Here
very
you
sense.
high
come.
That doesn't
IQ
And
even
here
make
you
sense.
come.
conversation, actually, sir. It's been very high IQ. And I always tell people this: the people
Doesn't
who
make sense.
patronize my channel are very, very intelligent individuals. Because if you resonate with my content, you resonate with the people that patronize my content, like Torian, like Unspoken, like Lynn. You have to have a higher level and a higher vibration. But unfortunately, Mr. 1776, because that's probably when your people got here, because you probably came on a boat, you're not indigenous to these lands, you wouldn't understand, sir. So let me go ahead and send you to the shadow realm. See you later. Thanks for the
Oh,
and the engagement, my brother. But anyway,
not
yeah, you know what I'm saying? Like we don't play
is
those
it
games
time
over
to
here.
duel?
Yeah,
Is
this
it
is
time
I
to
wish
duel?
I wish more white people knew how to roast, really, because they don't be having no good comebacks half the time. Like, see,
no.
unless they're raised by black people. I always say this too. Like all the white people that I've ever met that were raised by black people or that grew up in a black neighborhood are some of the most humane, best white people I've ever met in my life.
Mm-hmm.
My
Yeah.
God, the hood did this to you?
You know
Well,
what? You know
damn.
what?
Well,
You
damn.
know,
Shit, like,
it's crazy because like I was on the fence for a second when you were starting that off, and then I was like, oh, I don't know. I agree with you, but look, I gotta prove you right. Because literally, when I was going through my situation at SLU, the only one of the only people who stood up as a witness was this girl from Memphis. And she was a white girl from Memphis, blonde, blue eyes, everything. And she said that she did not get along with a lot of the white girls here because in St. Louis, Missouri, because she said that they were just like seeming stuck up and just real different. She said they were different from where she came from, and it was much more eclectic and diverse where she came from. So she just was used to being around certain people, and she said that's why she has no friends up here. But she said she was observing the interactions I was having with people, and she saw that I was constantly having issues with people. And she said she waited the first couple of years that I was at the school, and then she got to the point where she was like, I can't see anything that you've ever done. So that's why she decided to stand up for me and or stand up with me and be a
right.
witness.
And just to be clear, the only reason why she could stand up for you, Lynn, was because her existence and her realm is not in white supremacy.
Mhm.
Oh, am I online? Oh, sorry. So
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
I'm
I
hot.
thought I had muted myself. Sorry, but yeah, the only reason why she could stand up for you is because her world. She doesn't live in the white world. She comes from the black world, and she was a white girl in a black world, but
Mhm.
she was actually understanding real life, living with black people, right? And that's why she's more humane, for better or for
Mhm.
worse, whether they were ghetto or not. Like most of us, we're gonna check you. We're gonna hold each other to a certain level. That's just what we do. So
It's our
That's why she
culture.
could do that, because she didn't care if these white people were friends with her, because she's never really probably had white friends if she grew up in Memphis. See, that's the part
No,
right
that's what she
there.
said. That's what she said.
That's the
That's
part
exactly
right
what she
there.
said.
So see, when you're white and you're growing up in an all white environment, you are
Mhm.
boxed because you're limited to whatever you can only think how they allow you to think. This is the crux of white supremacy. You
This
can
is what I
only do
say.
what they allow you to do. They're pigeonholed because even if they do see that something is wrong, and this happened in history so many times, a white family wanted to stick their neck out for some black people that moved on the block because they actually talked to them and saw that they were really cool. But then next thing you know, they get a call from the next door neighbor that's white that's like, I saw you talking to Jeremy. What's going on with that? Like, yeah, you can't be befriended these Negroes, right? Like, so they intimidate, they live under intimidation and threat of their own people all the time. This is
This is
why
what I'm
the judge
saying.
said, y'all better get it done. This is why the
Mhm.
Indians knew they had to vote against Carmelo because they get got. This is
Yep.
why, especially in small towns, they if they are not on code, they used to, lynch white people used to get lynched as well. They used to light crosses
Mhm.
on their houses. You have to
Oh
be
yeah.
on code for white supremacy. So they are not free. We're free. We can go against each other. We can love each other, hate each other, whatever. We're free in all of our okay.
Mm-hmm. 100%. And I think
Real
that's
talk.
important. Like we definitely, like, obviously I grew up in Long Beach, and Long Beach is considered one of the most diverse cities in America. You know what I'm saying? Just the fact that it's such a melting pot, a lot of different people here. And like you mentioned, like I've got a lot of friends from a lot of different backgrounds, you know what I mean? But I think when it comes to kind of the understanding, we know who is our allies and we know who will have our back and who doesn't. And it's so sad and unfortunate, that Carmelo had to learn through this situation who's his friends and who's not. And I can only imagine, what's going through his head right now. And obviously, I bet he feels like he can't trust nobody. You know what I mean? Because the person who he thought would actually have his back was the one who actually threw him under the bus the most. You know what I'm saying? And I think, unfortunately, these are life lessons, like you guys mentioned, like Gen
The
Z
part
and
about it,
Alpha. They're going to have to learn these lessons, and they're going to have to find out who's their allies and who they can trust.
what was
Because
he Hispanic? The guy who
uh,
threw him under the bus?
I'm going to say that with the Para last name, it could be Hispanic or it could be white, because I
What's
have
it?
met
How do
some
you
white
spell
guys with
it?
the last name Para. I think it's
P-A-R-A?
Parra.
P-A-R-R-A.
Yeah, so I'm not sure
Well,
exactly.
Latinos also can be white, and they
Yeah,
often are.
exactly.
Oh,
So,
Spanish,
so yeah,
Portuguese, and
Yeah,
Catalan. Spanish,
yeah.
yeah, I was just
Portuguese,
about
and
to say
Catalan.
because that's definitely Spanish at
I
the
looked
very
it up.
least.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So basically, if he doesn't listen, do you understand? What's this? What part of Texas again? Crisco?
It's Texas. Look,
Mhm.
it's freaking
Okay.
Texas.
Right.
Listen, if he got up on there and fought his hardest, he might end up with his legs broken next week.
Oh yeah.
I don't really think that black people, I don't really think we as a group understand where we're living.
Frisco. There
That's
you
how real it is. Frisco. That's how real it is in America, especially the South
Yeah.
in
You know,
2026. If he would have got up there and stomped his hardest and really let his heart out for Carmelo, his legs could have been broken next week. He could be dead next week. He could have a quote unquote accident next week, or his family might get fired from their jobs.
I mean,
This is real life.
yeah, their livelihood is at stake now. You know what I'm saying? Their livelihood is at stake. Obviously, his family is now going to have to, take a lot of the brunt of this. I've already heard that they had to move a couple of times. So there's definitely a lot of ramifications that his family is going to have to deal with. And unfortunately, this is how white supremacy works. And we're now going to have to really, like, I was watching Afro Elite earlier, and he was talking about this, but we're still going to have to support Carmelo even through this very dark time that he's going to go through. You know what I mean? It may seem like there's no hope, but he has chance. He still has his life, and he still has an opportunity to appeal this. And we're going to support him all the way through this. You know
oh
what I mean?
yeah,
Because
there's a whole bunch of
obviously, We know them people, they support their own, right, wrong, or
Yep.
indifferent. And so
Yep.
it's time for us as Black folks to start being on the same time. Like, obviously, if people do wrong, then we can't, it's hard to explain that. But this is a situation where I feel like he was definitely in the right and he needed to
Self-defense.
do what he had to do. Obviously, unfortunately, somebody lost their life behind that, no doubt. But at the end of the day, hey, I'm here for Karmelo, and I wish him the best. You know what I'm saying? Because this is only gonna get deeper. You feel me? And more as more information comes out, like this stuff, okay, we're gonna have an opportunity. You know what I'm saying? To hold these people accountable for what they did to him, and we cannot let them off the hook because this type of stuff is gonna keep coming out. And if we have platforms, we gotta raise the awareness and we gotta put it out there every opportunity we get because they would do the same if it happened in reverse. Okay, let's say that it happened to Austin and Austin did that to Karmelo and Austin had to do 35 years. You don't think these white supremacists will be on these channels every single day going
Oh, they
hard?
sure would.
They would. They
Doing
would
this
not. They
thing
would
for
not
good.
let up. They would not let up. So we can't either. You know what I'm saying?
Look
We
at what
got
they're
to stay
doing for
on the road.
good.
Straight up. But yeah,
I did
yo,
want to say they definitely. I don't know if there's any way to bring a case against the school at the very least, and maybe even some other institutions in the town, maybe even the city itself, for allowing this kind of racial environment because it seems as though this is just a racist area. And
mhm.
I don't know if they can figure out some. This is the type of stuff that I'm going to school to try to figure out because when I start law school next year, that's when because I've been majoring in criminology and criminal justice, so that's
Yeah.
not law. So when I go to law school, I'll actually be learning the law to a T, and I definitely look forward to figuring out how to figure these cases because there's got to be a way for you to be able to sue an institution that allows for you to be bullied for this long, you to be harassed, you to be, all things bullying falls into a lot of legal categories: harassment, assault, all kinds of things. So it's like for someone to allow that in an institution, even to allow that, that's a failure to an extent that that institution needs to pay for it. And if it's the whole city, then it's the whole city.
Yeah, we gotta make sure we hold them accountable. That's the point of all this is making sure that we hold these people accountable and we do our best to make sure that Karmelo gets a fair trial, okay? Because this was not a fair trial. They always talk about the American way and our rights to a fair trial and all this stuff. Well,
I'm gonna
if
take
that's the
out.
case, right? If
Bye.
that's the case, then it's time for y'all to pay some respect for this. Okay, you got to explain this. We got to know what this is because otherwise it's collusion. Okay, and we ain't finna be playing that. So, you know what I mean? If y'all got any final words, please let them fly because I'm gonna get up out of here. You know what I'm saying? Anybody got anything to say before we leave and conclude for the night?
No, I mean, I think this was a good broadcast, and I just want Black folks to leave because I'm doing a video on this. It's going to be a little bit different. I didn't say everything I said in the video, but
Yes.
we just need to start understanding that this is a racist country. America has always been a country that was colonized and enslaved people and killed people, raped people for the betterment of European immigrants, for them to have a land where they could be free because they were dealing with persecution in Europe. It was never supposed to be a multicultural melting pot. We were never supposed to be freely living here amongst them. And that's what the underbelly of America is. And that's what it will always be. Black people moving forward, if we want to remain Black in the sense of culturally on code, understanding who we are, our identity, our ebonics, our slang, our life, everything about us, our genuine essence, that's going to have to be in only Black areas. There is no multiculturalism for us. There is no Black and brown. Respect to all. I love everybody. I genuinely do. But there is no unity on a group mass level with us and Asians, with us and Hispanics. You know, respect. Some of us have friends like, and we're close, and that's great. But on a group level, there's no unity. If we want to have personal bodily freedom moving forward in America, we're going to have to live together. We're going to have to self-segregate. And if you don't want to do that moving forward, you're going to catch L's and you're just going to have to deal, because unless you have the protection of the collection of all of us to being together like the NOI do, we're going to keep catching hell.
Yep. At your own risk. You know what I'm saying? Do that at your own risk, because these are now the warnings. And obviously, if you aren't taking heed of this, that's on you straight up, because ain't no excuse at this point. You know what I'm saying? Thank you, Unspoken. I really appreciate you. Her channel is in the chat. I'm a put it again for y'all so you guys can go ahead and subscribe to her. And yeah, thank you, Unspoken, for pulling up. This was a great stream. I thank you so much. For real, for real.
Thank you. And Torian, do you have something to say?
Yeah, go ahead, Torian, before you get up out. Torian, are you there? Maybe he's not.
He's gone.
Yeah, he might be. Yeah, he might have dipped out.
Does he have a channel? Does he have a channel?
Yes, he does. Torian Rain Reloaded. That's the name of his channel. Yeah, look him up. He's one of the people that got me onto YouTube. I was
what?
Yeah, I've been following him for years, and one day he was just in my chat, and we've been locked in ever since. He's a good dude.
I just subscribed to him.
He makes great content. So salute to Torian. I hope you guys subscribe to him as well. I think he might have dipped out for the day, but you know what I'm saying? We're gonna remove the homie. Okay. Yeah, but thank you, Unspoken. Appreciate you. Yeah, hopefully we could link up again.
We will.
All right. Peace.
All right.
All right, y'all. So it's just me. You know, I like to end always on a good note, but we're going to make sure that we do it right. So I got a verse for y'all before we leave, because it was a lot of negative energy was in the world and in this space right now. So we got to cover it with some real spiritual coverings. So I got a verse for y'all before I dip, and then I'm out of here. But the verse is Proverbs 24, 1 and 2. It says, "Be not envious of evil men, nor desire to be with them, for their hearts devise violence, and their lips talk trouble." Okay, so don't be weary of these people who are trying their best to bring us out of ourselves and take us out of our spirit. We are a very, very chosen people. God put us here for a reason. Don't go around with your head down. Don't go around feeling sad. Don't go around feeling like you have to be subservient to these people. Keep doing what you do, because we need y'all. We need you guys to stay locked in. This and this, okay? Strong heart, strong mind. We cannot be faded, because we've been through more than they could ever imagine. And we still here, y'all. We still here, okay? So please continue to fight every day. Never stop, never give up, okay? We here for a reason, y'all. So I really, really love you guys. I love my people, and I hope that you guys have a great rest of the week. Stay locked in, stay committed to what you're doing, and don't ever let nobody take you off of your square, okay? Because you guys earned it. You deserve to be here. We deserve to be here, okay? I love you all. I love you all, okay? So peace, y'all. Have a great night, and I wish you